Oh no.
All right. Three, two, one.
Yeah, this is Wubs and Chrome #4 weekly rants and juicy topics. I got
Juicy.
10. Yeah, I got 10 of them, baby, that I came up with within 2 days.
You got 10 inches? What?
I got 10-inch dick, man. It grew up within 10 days.
And you grew it in 1 week? That's crazy. Send me the pills. Shut up and take my money, Chrome.
Yeah, it's just amazing because after I came up with the 10, because I want to keep it 10 minimum, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
And after the 10th one, my brain just kept coming up with more. I'm like, shut up, enough. 10 is enough,
Whoa, 10
you
minimum.
know?
I thought 6 was the minimum. Has it gone up? Are we at double digits now? What the?
That's the average dick size is 6 inches.
There you go.
And slightly cocked to the left.
Ah, okay. Wait, so does that mean if it's cocked to the right, is that preferable just because it's different, or?
I don't know why. I don't know why I forgot how I learned that shit, but I don't know why it's like that. Like I give a fuck, as long as I can
Right.
fucking pleasure myself. I'm cool.
Yeah, I mean when you're not getting touched, it really doesn't matter what other people think.
Oh man.
But yeah, tell us about your list, Chrome. What's on the list?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, number one, we're gonna talk about Taylor Swift, man.
Oh, Tay Tay.
Because I heard I remember hearing about her promiscu- promiscuous lifestyle that she used to get her way to the top.
Hmm.
I didn't lose respect for her for that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care. It's
Sure.
like that's the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let her do her thing. So my what got me to lose respect for when she became a goddamn feminist, man. When she started
Mm.
spouting that bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I was watching this interview because the Hodge twins. You ever heard of them?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen the Hodge twins. Mm-hmm. They got an
Yeah,
interesting
the
channel.
Hodge. Yeah, they funny as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny. So they was doing one. They was doing one with Taylor Swift talking to this woman about her. I can't remember what the fuck she said. My brain, understandably, refuses to fucking remember it because it makes no goddamn sense. So she was pretty much saying, "Oh, when when a woman is explaining is this, and when a man is explaining is that."
Mm.
Something like that she was saying. And
Mm-hmm.
the interviewer, who was a female, you could see it all on her face, and she was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Taylor?" It was all on her face. I don't think she realized that it was visible what she was thinking on her face.
Wow.
That made the shit funny. I
Right.
was like, "Holy shit!"
Could you
It's like
imagine
she was
like being a talk show host or whatever on regular? I mean, this was just on regular TV, right? This wasn't just like a YouTube channel. I'm assuming.
out. Uh huh.
Like,
No, this was like I don't know what type of interview it was. I know she was talking to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift was all smiles and shit.
let's
Like
let's put
like
it this
she's
way.
telling
But
like she's spreading out true knowledge.
let's put it this way though. If you interview people like Taylor Swift with any sort of regularity, and you're so surprised at how dumb something is that you visibly show it, that's impressive
Yeah,
because she hears the dumb stuff all the time and fakes
yeah,
her way through it, and you don't know how she feels about it. But if she visibly shows, wow, that's dumb, that's when you know
yeah.
something's really dumb.
Yeah. The thing is, Taylor Swift. I don't know if she even caught it because I sure as hell did. I was like, look at this woman looking at you. Can't you see it? Well, I guess if she can see shit, she wouldn't be a feminist. You know what I'm saying? So
Right?
I mean,
Oh, that's funny.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, because you know when she started, man, she was a country bumpkin. You know, she sang some beautiful fucking tracks. I like some of her first singles.
Oh,
You
I
know, it
do
was
too.
basically about love, basically about finding love and living happily ever after.
Right.
And now she ended up singing the opposite. You live in a nightmare, but you're still in a relationship. It's like
she
she
did
definitely
that
matured.
that Two-Face thing from Dark Knight. She lived long enough to see herself become the villain. That's what happened.
Yes,
She
that's
got so
exactly. That's,
popular, she became the villain eventually. Because
yeah,
life got too easy, too boring, predictable, whatever. I guess she's made so much money. She's super famous. So what is she gonna do now? Oh, just cause some drama because she can. She has nothing better to do.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, but she just dumb. It's like that's like I had respect for before. She just dumb, man. But I'm gonna tell you what I do like about her. Uh, she's a giving person.
Hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, she ended up donating. I forgot. I can't remember the amount of money. But it was a lot of money to this couple. I forgot what they were going through. It was going through something, but she ended up giving of her own money, a lot of money to them, so they can get through what they was getting through. And she never met them before.
Wow, that's
She just
pretty
heard
cool.
about. She read it. Yeah, she heard about their story online, and she was like, "Oh, let me just give them some of my money." You know what I'm saying? And it was a lot
Mm.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was nice of her to do that.
Sure.
You know?
And that is really nice. I'm not, it's always nice when particularly super rich people, donate some of their money since, they obviously don't need all of it. Um,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're really generous.
yeah.
I think it was. I felt that she was moved to do it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I have no reason not I mean, to think otherwise. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, that's good. I'm just curious what
'Cause
she said now that triggered your question or adding it to the list today. I'm really curious what she said about feminism. I want to go and check out that video at some point.
oh, I don't. I wish I could find it for you. It's just like, but I know the Hodge twins covered it,
Okay.
but I don't. Uh, shit, man. It was just weird. If you could like play the footage, man, it's fucking weird. It was just. I was like, Taylor, what the fuck are you doing?
Hmm. Give
And
me a second.
do you
I'll
understand?
let me go see
It's
if I
like,
can find it here. Okay, I found the video. Here we go.
You're always going to have people going, did she write all her own songs? Talking about your personal life, talking about your dating life. There's a different vocabulary for men and women in the music industry, right?
Give me an example.
Okay, a man does something, it's strategic.
I can't
A
hear
woman does the
anything.
same thing, it's calculated. A man is allowed to react, a woman can only overreact.
And you
Wubs,
Hmm. Yeah. It's still,
Wubs.
yeah, it's trying to go. Can
Uh,
you can you hear me?
uh, you got the recording on?
Yeah, it's on. It's playing. Yeah, it's buffering right now. Internet's having issues. Yeah, I probably can't do the screen share at the same time. Hang on. Sorry about that, everybody. I got the video loaded up now.
You're always going to have people going, did she write all her own songs? Talking about your personal life, talking about your dating life. There's a different vocabulary for men and women in the music industry, right?
give me an example.
Okay, a man does something, it's strategic. A woman does the same thing, it's calculated. A man is allowed to react, a woman can only overreact.
And you've had these labels thrown at you.
Oh yeah, it goes on and on and on.
I don't know about that. That's that's a little general from my perspective. Like what
It's stupid.
she's saying that
It's stupid.
a man can only or a man can react, but a woman can only overreact. I don't really think so. I see men in the music industry overreact to shit all the time. That's not a that's not a gender thing. That's a
That's just it.
that might just
That's
be an
just it.
artist thing, honestly.
Yeah, but she could have switched the words and still would have made little sense of what she said.
Right?
It's ridiculous.
Uh, yeah. To me, it just seems
And
like
you see
something to
the
complain about.
and and note the woman's face. You can see that she's like, "What the fuck?" You can just sit, just play it one more time. Play it one more time, and pay it. Look at the woman's face, and it's amazing, man.
All right, give me a second. I'll cue it up again.
Okay.
You're always going to have people going, did she write all her own songs? Talking about your personal life, talking about your dating life. There's a different vocabulary for men and women in the music industry, right?
Give me an example.
Okay, a man does something, it's strategic. A woman does the same thing, it's calculated. A man is allowed to react, a woman can only
Oh my
overreact.
god.
And you've had these labels thrown at you.
Oh yeah, it goes on and on and on.
I guess Taylor overreacts a lot. Is the takeaway?
I would have literally said like, "Wait, I don't get it," and I don't think I ever will. Like, what are you talking about, men and women? I can't see. I can't remember what she said. I watched it twice. I can't remember what she said.
she's
See, that's my
basically
brain
she's
is
basically saying
dumb, man.
like there's a double standard in the music industry,
Yeah, that's I know what she's saying that, but it's dumb. But it still makes no sense.
right? That women only overreact and men just react normally or something, or like that's what people think.
Men
Whatever.
overreact too.
Yeah, yeah. I
It's
don't.
like, what is she talking about?
I I think at some point somebody probably, said that she was crazy or reacted crazy or something, and she thought that it was a gender thing, but it might have just been maybe she was a little crazy at that time for something. I don't know.
Yeah, but she's saying she's explaining like she's spreading some information that nobody's ever heard of that she noticed, and it's gospel truth. No, it's not. It makes you look dumb as hell,
Yeah.
and it doesn't help that you are blind. It doesn't help. That's more laughable that you were blind. On top of that,
But then she'd just say that
so
you're just saying that because she's a woman. If she was a blonde man, you wouldn't say that.
oh, I'll say you're a dumb male blonde. How about that?
Right? You're not worried about gender at
It's
all.
if feminism never ceases to amaze me, man, and boggle my fucking mind because they act like I mean, you ever heard of Anita Sarkeesian, this fucking con artist bitch?
Yeah, I feel like
Anita
I've
Anita
heard of
Sarkeesian.
her.
Yeah.
How did that? What
Uh
happened?
she used to run a channel called Feminist Frequency talking about uh women shouldn't be revealing themselves in video games and all that shit. You know
Oh
what I'm
wow.
saying? But anyway,
Okay.
she actually said one time that women are second class citizens
Hmm.
that'll lower us on the totem pole. I said, bitch, it's quite the opposite.
Right?
Actually. So you've been living on a fucking rock, believing that.
Yeah. That's crazy if you
It's
believe
like,
that.
it's like, yeah. It's like, for example, how women seen as second class citizens and lower than men. Where if me and my sister was to go out and murder somebody, even though we both shared in killing a person, I would get 10 times more time than she would get
Oh yeah.
in prison.
Absolutely. I mean, you certainly get more. I don't know if it'd be 10 times. It'd be a lot more though, for
Yeah,
sure.
it'd be a lot more.
Same exact crime. I've seen that
Same
a
exact
lot.
crime. Pisses me off when I read that shit. I was like, come on, man, she's just as guilty as he is.
It's the same with the race stuff, right? Like sometimes there's racial injustice as far as prison terms, or at least historically there used to be a lot of that. There's probably a lot less now, but back in the day that used to be a big issue.
Yeah, I heard the stories on that too. Yeah, but it's funny thing about it. I said, how come I'm not running across stories where white people actually was locked up for something they didn't do? How come I'm
Mm,
always hearing about black people?
right.
Why is that? You mean to tell me it's only black people that's being locked up for something they didn't do? It's not white people, not Hispanics, not Asians. Are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah, that seems pretty unlikely, in my opinion.
Right. But why just talk about one race? You should talk about anybody, which is fucked up, that's been in prison for something they didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just blacks.
It's a horrible thing to think about. People going to prison
It-
for something they didn't
yeah,
do.
it is.
That was bad enough for the people that actually did the crimes, what they got to go through in prison.
I'm
So,
gonna add this. I'm gonna add this regarding that subject because my uncle, he got locked. My uncle on my dad's side, he got locked up when I was a baby.
mm-hmm.
Okay, and he murdered somebody. Okay, and he was locked up for that.
Wow.
However, he ended up later after I was in my 20s or no early 20s. He got released
Mm-hmm.
on good behavior. This man took a life. He didn't see
Wow.
no death penalty or nothing, yet he's black. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You think they be in a rush to kill the black person. But
Mm-hmm.
no, this guy, he was a model prisoner, a mentor to the new ones who ended up coming in there, uh, respected all the time he was locked up, and they ended up petitioning that he be released. And he won. They
Wow.
released him. Even though this man committed murder like 20 some years ago. It's like
That's
I'm just
incredible.
I'm just trying to make a point. I'm just trying to make a point here. He's black too, yet he didn't, because they always said, oh, they love to put the death penalty on black people and all that shit. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, it depends on the state. Because some states they don't want to put death penalty on, no matter what you did. It depends on the state. Because each state has different conditions on giving a death penalty.
Right.
Even though they all in America, you got to factor that in.
Absolutely. Every state's different.
Yeah, because I could bring that story about my uncle. I was like, come on, y'all. That man was released. He got taste of freedom before he passed.
I gotta say, I'm
It's
I'm
like
pretty surprised he got out. I wouldn't have expected that.
me neither, especially since he black. Who know what you be hearing? Oh, blacks
Right?
they're doomed once they get locked up.
Yep. That is what I hear a lot. Or that's a popular narrative. Uh, I don't know
Yeah, yeah,
enough
because
about it currently to really comment, but what a story about your uncle.
yeah, that I think about that, and I'm like, how could I believe that blacks are doomed? You know what I'm saying? They
Mm-hmm.
they got just as much of a chance as any other race that get locked up, even if they committed murder.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's an interesting topic. Very different from Taylor Swift and feminism.
Yeah, that's what happens. We jump all over the place. It's
Right?
like
I
I
love
was
it.
pretty much done. I was pretty much done talking about Taylor Swift's ass, man. It's like,
I think I'm done too after that comment.
yeah, I'm glad you played that video so they can see how
Right.
dumb that shit is. And I
Yep.
wonder if anybody in the comments can make sense of what the fuck she talking about because I'd like to know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yes. If you know what the fuck Taylor Swift is talking about, please comment below and tell us, because we're not really sure. Can't be totally sure on that.
the next one is talking about gaming, like console owning stories, like your
Mm,
first console
yeah.
and becoming how you became a gamer
Right.
and everything like that. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, I remember when I was a kid. I go first if
Yeah,
you don't
yeah. Go
mind.
ahead. Go ahead. Sure. Love to hear it.
Uh, I remember I remember before I became a gamer, I used to play this computer game called Socrates. I don't I don't really consider those really because it was educational based anyway. It wasn't like shooters and all that shit
Right.
and platforms. I mean like side scrolling games or anything like that. That's the only experience of gaming that I had before I ended up playing Nintendo. So
Mm-hmm.
but I remember before that I used to go to relatives' house. I used to watch them play Atari. I never wanted to play it. I just like to watch it.
Sure.
Oddly enough, I never, so you thought that would have got me into it. But I remember I used to watch them play Donkey Kong on Atari, and the way he climb up the vines and the sounds that it will make when he climbs. I'm like fucking like 7 years old, 6 years old. I'm just looking like, wow. I was content just watching it,
Yep.
because it was until 9 where I got my Nintendo, and how I got that. My mother told me that one day that my sister was going to bring me something, and it was a surprise. She didn't tell me what it was, and it was a Nintendo. So in the
Nice.
first game I played, right, in the first game I played was Super Mario on Nintendo. The first game I played, I couldn't put it down. Before I knew it, I was hooked.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember me and my uncle, we used to rent games from the video store and play them and shit like that. I
Wow.
mean, I was hooked, man. I found my purpose in life playing video games. At a young age.
Right? No, I can relate with that for sure.
Yeah. So after the Nintendo, I got a Super Nintendo. We bought that from the store called Funkoland. And I remember the last Nintendo game I was playing before I started playing Super Nintendo was Mike Tyson's Punch Out on Nintendo.
Oh, wow.
And I used to play that because I was anticipating my Super Nintendo too. And shit. I was like, man, but I wasn't thinking like, "Oh, I can't wait to see the better graphics and the better stuff." I wasn't thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about playing Super Nintendo. That's all I was thinking about because I wanted one ever since I saw Super Mario World.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Sure.
and I was at a relative's house watching that, and I was like, "Oh, I want this so bad, Mom! Give me a Super Nintendo. I want to play this Super Mario World." And the
Oh,
animation would just blew my mind, you know.
right.
And I was like, "Holy shit! I gotta get this." And this lady, man, I don't know if she was a relative of mine or not, but she was like, "It's super. It's super." Pretty much telling us it's better than Nintendo. So I was like, "Holy shit." Let's see that, you know what I'm saying? I'm on my, so I could
Nintendo really needed to get her to do an ad. You know?
because she kept saying it's super. You know, I
Right?
remember like it was yesterday because she kept saying it.
Oh, that's
So
hilarious.
imagine, just imagine my surprise when my dad told me and my brother that we were finally going to get a Super Nintendo. I was like, oh my god! I thought I shit my pants, man. My God, oh shit! I was so fucking excited, man. You think I was promised $1 million? So I remember the first Super Nintendo game I played was R-Type,
Mm-hmm.
and particularly the second stage, the music was like banging. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this music sounds so fucking good for a video game. Cause no more 8-bit, as memorable and iconic as those themes are. Mega Man games, for example. I love the Mega Man game soundtrack, 8-bit. Oh my god, it music sounds so fucking good for Nintendo. But Super Nintendo was on a whole nother fucking level with the sound chip. And the music sounded so good. It could do much more with the Super Nintendo's sound chip. And boy, did they take advantage of that. And it just amazed me how good the music sounded,
Oh, yeah.
and uh, and the
And
graphics and everything like that.
the games that they had on the Super Nintendo, the soundtrack, some of the best game music ever made was on the Super Nintendo.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah! So after the Super Nintendo, um, we ended up getting an N64 that came for Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and because every Christmas we had to go to our great grandmother's house and all that shit. But this Christmas we didn't want to go no fucking where. We wanted to stay home and play our new N64. You know what I'm saying? Because I was playing Duke Nukem 64, and I believe that was the first person shooter I ever played was Duke Nukem 64, and that was the first time even hearing about Duke Nukem. You know what I'm saying? And me and my brother did not want to fucking leave. We was so fucking mad. Like, damn. I'm like, Mom, can we stay? Like, nope. We all got to go to great grandma's house to eat Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, like Christmas dinner, open presents, and all that shit. The best part about going down there was I got money from her. When she gave me no money, I was like, man, I wasted my time coming down here. So, but yeah, we didn't want to leave because we was playing our fucking N64. My mom was wrong because I don't know why she had us play it. She knew damn well that we wasn't gonna want to leave after we started playing the 64. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I mean, but she did it anyway. I think she did. I think she liked to torture us secretly. I think she did. She was like, yeah, I'm not gonna leave. I'm just gonna put them away from it. Watch them cry as they get their clothes on.
Oh.
But yeah, but we played many games on that system. It was like I was introduced to some great iconic fighting games like Mace of the Dark Ages, War Gods, another one called Dark Rift, Primal Rage, Killer Instinct, Samurai Showdown, all on Super Nintendo, man. I mean, not Super Nintendo. I mean, that was Super Nintendo. My bad. I'm getting ahead of myself. Uh, Then we played some N64 fighting games too. One in particular I'm thinking about now was Mortal Kombat 4.
Oh yeah.
We played the fuck out of that one.
Tylor just picked that up, I think, at the SoCal Gaming Expo. Because I think that's one
mm,
he brought back. He was showing it in his pickup videos. He says the only Mortal Kombat game he hasn't played, I guess, at least of the mainline
yeah, four.
series.
Yeah, 4 was the last one I played. I fell out of Mortal Kombat, but anyways,
Oh, dude,
we
you
played a
gotta
lot
you
of it,
gotta
and
play
then
X. You gotta play X at some point. It's so good.
I did. I played X. I played 11
Oh, okay.
and 10. I own 11 and 10 and 9.
Oh, okay.
But I'm getting ahead of. I'm gonna share how I got into. I'm gonna share how I got back into Mortal Kombat. I'm gonna share
Okay.
that too.
Okay.
But we were playing Mortal Kombat 4, and we played the shit out of that because we played. Yeah, War Gods was on 64. Yeah, that game was on 64. War Gods, Dark Rift. Those are fighting games. Mario Kart 64. We played the shit out of that.
Did you play?
Um,
Did you play by chance? Oh, what is that game? Mace.
Mario 64. Huh?
Mace the Dark Ages. That was a fighting game, right? But it
Yeah,
was all like
yeah,
knights and wizards and stuff, right?
yeah. That's it. Mace of the
Yeah.
Dark Ages, dope game
I never
on
got to play
64.
that one. It
Yep.
always looks so cool. I still want to try that
The
sometime.
soundtrack. I mean, the game is fun. The soundtrack is fucking banging. To this very day, I occasionally listen to the soundtrack. Fucking dope shit.
That's awesome.
Way better than the arcade. Way better than the arcade soundtrack. Way better, in my opinion. But but yeah, so after the 64, we end up getting the I'm not Super Nintendo, a PS1. Okay, and we somehow my mother ended up getting us Mortal Kombat 4 for the PS1 as well. Okay, and holy shit, when we popped that in, we was expecting to see the same game basically, just on another system, right?
Sure.
But it was like a whole different fucking game.
Hmm.
That's how much of a leap it was from the 64 cartridge to the CD. And me and my brother was eyes was popping out of our heads as we was looking at the cut scenes and shit. It
Hmm.
was like, damn, this is way better than the 64 version. We were
Mm.
tripping. We
Now,
were tripping. I said, look, my brother was like, look, they mouths actually moving when they talk. I said, I know, this is like a fucking movie. It was fucking we didn't I mean if that didn't encourage us to look back, I don't know what not to look back to 64. I don't know what did, man. It's like because we
right.
had that game, we had I think we had 3 games to start us off on PlayStation. Mortal Kombat 4, um Tekken 3,
Hmm. That's a
and
banger.
and Resident Evil 2.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a good set right there. I never played
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 4. I played all of them through Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and then I didn't play another Mortal Kombat game until X. Uh,
Mhm.
Tylor just sent me the Mortal Kombat game. I guess it's Mortal Kombat 9 technically for the PS3. So I'm gonna get to play that one. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I missed a bunch of them in there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I felt I didn't. Mortal Kombat did disappoint. I just fell out of it. I just didn't
Mm-hmm.
care about playing the ones that came out before. I just didn't care. I mean, I maybe because I got into other games that wasn't Mortal Kombat to the point I didn't care about it anymore. But there's this dude I watched. I used to watch him much more often in the past. He was called he was called Angry Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and one day he was talking about Mortal Kombat 9. Okay, and I was like, I don't play, but I liked it him. You know what I'm saying? That's why I clicked on it. I wasn't interested. The guy was interested in his content. I like his content. And so I was watching it, and he was talking about basically it's like a reboot of the entire series, all in one game. They like rebooted the whole thing, and I was like, He was like, you could see like Sector and Cyrax. You could see what they were like before they became the cyborgs. And I was like, ooh, you can play Cyrax as a human? I was like, what?
That's pretty cool.
I was like, holy shit. And Sector. Oh. And then so I was hooked. I said, I gotta buy this. I gotta get this. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
got back into it. It
absolutely.
was the same. It was similar to he also got me back into playing Batman again. Because the
Ooh,
last Batman game I played was based off the 1989 movie. It was on Nintendo, which was great.
that was a great game.
Great fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the last one I played, and I didn't care about no Batman anymore. So until until he was talking about Arkham Asylum on one of his videos, and he was going to detail on how good it is, Harley Quinn, and I was like, "Ooh, wait!" My interest in Batman became ignited again after years. It's like I gotta get this. So that very day, after because I was watching this on in the library on the computer. So after my session was up, I went straight to GameStop and bought the first Arkham game.
Wow.
Popped that shit in, man. I'm telling you, blew my mind on the cinematic, the gameplay. I was just blown away playing it. I was like, "Ooh, this game is fucking fun."
It is such a good
You know?
game. That one in
Yeah.
particular, that was one reason why I really wanted a PS3 was because of that game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was worth it.
I bet that's what I could say about my purchase. The reason why I bought the 360 in the first place because of Rumble Roses, not because of Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right?
I'm happy to say that, not because of Halo. It was a female wrestling game that I was so pissed it was on PS3. But
Right.
I love the PS2 version so much. I said, "Fuck this! I'm gonna get an Xbox just to play it."
Well, that's not so unusual for you, right? Because you like role-playing games too, right?
Yeah,
And I only bring that up because I think if you're into role-playing games, a lot of gamers, it's we're used to that. We're used to, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a Nintendo so I can play Fire Emblem. But, like most people are like, oh,
yeah.
I gotta get the Nintendo so I can play Mario or I can play Zelda or whatever. It's like, yeah, but Fire Emblem and I love Zelda too and Mario. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying it. Sometimes it's a little different what our priorities are.
Yeah, I learned later that Xbox versus PlayStation was PlayStation was like if you were a role RPG lover, you should go for the PlayStation because they have a
Yeah,
lot of RPGs on there.
right.
They're like the RPG console. Xbox has some too, which I do love. That is exclusive to that system. One in particular is Lost Odyssey, which I
Yeah.
highly recommend you play.
Mm-hmm.
That game is so damn good. Oh my god. I think that's the only RPG that actually made me fucking tear up. Give me
Really?
misty eye.
Wow.
I mean, the story is well told by immortal. Because you know, as kids, we thought of living forever. We thought, man, it'd be great to live forever. It'd be like a dream come true. We don't have to worry
Mm-hmm.
about dying. But that game pretty much discouraged it, the idea of it, entertaining it. It's it's like holy shit. Very good storytelling.
It would be horrifying.
And
I could see in a lot of ways.
yeah, I mean, it pretty much tells you immortality is not all it's cracked up to be. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty much the lesson because the main character's been living for centuries and shit, and I'm pretty sure he would just love to die
Right.
at this point in his life, you know. And he looks forlorn and sad. I mean, you can feel he's lived. He's watched countless people that he met as children grow to be old and die
Yep.
constantly. That must that will wreak havoc on anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like you live 1,000 years and you watch all these people that you knew just grow old and die constantly over and over and over again. But I have immortality. You don't grow old and die. You know what I'm saying? But it's still
Mm-hmm.
it's torture. Because I say this. I say I wouldn't mind taking immortality potion to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
But only on one condition. I want my friends to live forever too.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's just me, fuck that.
Right.
I don't want it. I don't want it. If it's just gonna be me,
Well, I think that's
you know.
you know, we haven't talked about it a lot, but I'm a bit of a comic book nerd too, and
Mm-hmm.
that was the thing. Did you see the Guardians of the Galaxy movies?
I heard of them. Never want to watch them.
Mm.
I heard of them though.
Well, just a little spoiler for the second one. The main character basically finds out that he's immortal,
Uh
but
huh.
he has to give it up to defeat the villain, and but and you'd think like, oh, this is a big decision, it's so hard, and the villain tries to use that against him, saying like, oh, if you kill me you'll lose your immortality, whatever. And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
so what? You know, he's like, you'll just be a regular person, everything else. He's like, yeah, what's so bad about that? And he doesn't even hesitate.
Yeah, it reminds me of this movie called Death Becomes Her, which is really good. It's a comedy, but it's also grounded in morals. It's a moral of
Mm-hmm.
the story about immortality is not worth it.
Yeah.
You know, it has a message, even though it's a comedy at its core. And there was one part towards the end of the movie, this lady was trying to convince him to live forever. She was like, "You can live forever, never grow old." And he
Mm.
was like, "He said, yeah, that's good and all, but and then what?" And she's like, "What do you mean, and then what?" He said, "What's the?" He said, "How is it really good when I gotta watch everyone I love around me die?
Right.
What's the point of living forever then? What's the point? I'd be in misery. I'd rather just die here then."
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, he was willing to die, man, instead of taking a potion because he was literally hanging on for dear life. And she was like, "If you just drink the potion right now, you will survive your fall."
Wow.
So he takes a potion out of his pocket. And he just looks at it, and he was like, "Mm-mm." He let this shit drop,
Mm-hmm.
and then he fell to his death. I was like,
Wow.
"Wow." He said even in that moment he didn't drink it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because he knew what was awaiting him. He was in for a world of misery, man. It's not worth it. There's nobody else around. You can get the same thing.
You'd be alone. Like really,
Yeah,
it'd be a form of being alone that we can't, as mortals,
yeah.
even comprehend. Really. There was a anime recently that started that is actually dealing with this subject matter. Free Ren
Mm-hmm,
is what it's called, and I saw part
mm-hmm.
of the first season. It was really good. It picked
Okay.
basically. You would probably like this, Chrome. Actually, you should check this out. So it's a fantasy
Mm-hmm.
setting, sort of like a Lord of the Rings type thing, but
Okay.
it starts out, the main character is this elf, and she has just come back from this like multi-year campaign adventure that she had with a dwarf and a human or two humans. I forget the other crew, but there were all these other people she was with, her adventuring buddies, and they're all talking about how amazing it was. It was such an incredible experience, and they saved the world, and that was like the biggest thing of their lives, right? That they all had gone through, and she's just there, like sort of, in the background, kind of like, and they're and you feel like she doesn't really agree, and you find out that she doesn't really agree with them because she lives way longer than all of them, even the dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
Like thousands and thousands of years. So this whole adventure for her was like an afternoon of any like normal person. Like this multi-year adventure thing, it was barely any time at all in her life. And so the story is about her retracing the steps that they took in their adventure many years later, and taking on an apprentice, and other things that happen too. But basically, it starts out she's retracing the steps of the story, revisiting her adventuring buddies from this when they saved the world, and some of them are dead or dying, right, as she comes across them because it's
Mm-hmm.
been so long. And they were all young at
Mm-hmm.
the beginning for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And so she talks to the others about, what it, how different it is for her, and it's just interesting how the emotions come up because it's like she learns through this experience that she's more attached to these people than she would have thought, you know, and has to let them go. You know, it's pretty interesting.
Yes. Yeah, it's just like the dude, the main protagonist came and Lost Odyssey, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like his character development is so good and so believable for somebody who lives thousands of years without dying. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because when we first introduced him, he already lived a very long time. He's watched countless people die, and he's this forlorn character. He's not born because it makes sense that he would be that would be his attitude. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
There's this one story in the game where he met this person as a little girl. I forgot she would say something that would set her apart from other people. And when he seen her again as an old woman, she said the same thing. I almost broke down, man.
Hmm.
When I was reading that, when I was actually reading, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Wow.
Because he had went away from the village, and he came back. She was an old woman.
Mm-hmm.
And he described her. I'm trying to keep it together. He described her as acting the same way as she was acting when she was a little girl when he last saw her.
Oh wow.
She was kind of immature. She was an old woman, but she was immature. She like, "Hey." He was like, "Do you remember me?" And she was like, "Yeah, I remember you," even though he didn't change a lick,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Wow.
because he didn't go around telling. That's another thing about Kane. He didn't go around telling people he was immoral. He
Mm-hmm.
was just trying to live his life among people, and that's why he would leave
Right.
because they'd be wondering, well, how come you're not aging and everything
Mm-hmm.
like that. They're gonna wonder. So he would leave the village before they get suspicious of why he's not aging and shit.
So he couldn't develop attachments with anybody really,
No,
for
not really.
very long periods of time.
Yeah, there are other immortals in the game too. You get to play as playable characters. I think it's at least thinking of two right now
Mm-hmm.
that they're immortal too. You know,
That's pretty cool. I have
and
the
one of them is
game. I just
and
haven't
one of them
played
is
it yet.
actually yeah. It's I'm telling you, it's really grab some tissue when you play it, man. It's really
Mm.
fucking good.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sad that game never came on PS4 as a remaster.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. I would love for more gamers to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's why it's not all that popular because it was exclusive. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And
And
it
I'm
was
glad.
it was exclusive on a system most people didn't buy for RPGs.
Right, right,
So
right.
a lot of people. It's unfortunate, more people on PlayStation definitely would have played the game. Like if it had been a
Yeah,
PlayStation
they would
exclusive,
have.
I'm sure it would be like everybody would know about it.
Yeah, yeah. So So it's like I said, when I first played, I assumed it was on PS3 as well, but I didn't
Hmm.
find out. I found out that later it wasn't. I was like, holy shit.
Right.
But I got to hand it to Microsoft. I'm glad that they made that game backwards compatible. That's the
Oh
best
yeah.
they could do for it.
Yeah,
Because
because I
if
can
that
play
game wasn't
that.
backwards,
I can play that on my
yeah,
Series S. So
yeah.
you
I'm
know.
glad they did because all the games are backwards compatible, and that's one of them. That was a good choice. That's the
Hmm.
least you can do.
Right.
At least those who have the Series X that's never played it on the 360 can get their hands on it and play it.
Hmm.
You know?
Yep. And it does go on sale. I think I got my copy for like
Yeah.
$6 or $7. I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've never found it physically, really, for less than 20. I think 20 is probably a good price on that now with
Yeah,
the
it's,
store
it's not that
closing.
expensive. No, it's good. Yeah. Yeah. So if you got a Series X or anybody has a Series X or Xbox system, I highly recommend you give it a go.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm an RPG lover, and that's the only turn-based strategy RPG I ever played. I can't think of one that had the combat system was similar to it
Hmm.
because it's not only is it a turn-based, it's a strategy-based too,
I didn't
and it's
realize
done
that.
so fucking well.
Okay.
Yes, it's done so well.
So it's more like Fire
I mean,
Emblem or like
yeah,
Final Fantasy Tactics kind of.
yes. Persona does it too. It's
Hmm.
based the Persona games. It's basically a turn-based strategy too because
Okay.
you got to know what which the weakness. But with Lost Odyssey, it's more in depth. It's more, you know what I'm saying? Like
Okay,
that's
so it's
lack of a
more
better
like
word. It's more.
it's kind of more like the regular Final Fantasy games then, right? Like 7, 8, 9, that sort of thing. 10.
I wouldn't compare it to that. I wouldn't compare it to that to
Really?
those combats. I wouldn't.
Okay.
It's an in depth strategy combat system. I
Right.
mean, it's done really well.
You really got to know like the
I mean,
weaknesses to exploit.
yeah, you have to. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It pushes you to like
Hmm.
if you don't use a certain magic on this enemy, you're gonna have a hard time, guaranteed.
I gotcha. Yeah,
You
Persona
have
3 is
to.
definitely
It's
like
like
that.
you almost have to, unless you're a level, unless you're a high enough level, you could use
Hmm.
any magic and just blow them away. If you get to a monster for the first time, you got to find this. You better try to find his weakness
Hmm.
because that's gonna make the battle much more smooth. You still may have a challenge, but I'm just saying it's gonna be brutal if you don't know this weakness.
Sure.
I mean, and I welcome that. I welcome that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
So
definitely. I mean, honestly, I think those are the better RPGs in my opinion. Like if you got a combat system that requires a little bit of a learning curve to fully exploit, I think it's way
yeah,
more it's way more engaging.
yeah,
I used to love doing that back in the day, man, combining different materias in Final Fantasy VII and seeing what could be done with the merge points, where you could get 2 slots or 3 slots of materia. It was really cool.
hmm. So Whoops, it's time for you to relate your story on how you got into gaming and what was your first console and the second one and third one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Um well, I got into gaming initially. The earliest memory I have is give me just a second here. All right. So yeah. So I got into gaming when I was a kid. Like I was probably, I want to say like 4 or 5 years old. I took a trip up to West Virginia one Christmas.
You hit the record, did you?
Oh yeah, yeah, we're recording.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
making sure. I'm making sure
yeah,
because we
yeah,
can
no, we're
forget.
good, we're
Oh,
good.
go ahead.
Yep, yep. So I went up to West Virginia when I was like 4 or 5 one Christmas on the way to visit family in Ohio, and we stopped at some family friends. They have a house in the mountains in Virginia or in West Virginia, and their their sons had a NES, and this would have been like would have
Mm-hmm.
had to have been like 1990, 91, somewhere in there. So they had an NES, and they had Paperboy, the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game on the NES, and they had Super Mario Brothers. So I got to play all three of those games. I'm sure they probably had more that I'm forgetting, but those are the three that I really remember playing at their house. And I loved all of them. I was a huge fan. I loved playing and I loved watching. I wanted to play more though, of course, because that's our generation. The kids nowadays just want to watch it, but when we were kids, it was like, give me the controller, I'll break your face. um, so yeah, that's what really ignited the spark, I'd say. And then after that, I definitely played certain games in the arcades when I was pretty small, but I don't really remember much. The only one I really remember, well, two. I remember playing Street Fighter 2 because there was a cabinet at the local grocery store where I grew up. I could play Street Fighter 2 and Final Fight was there too. So I could play both of those games with the quarters at my local grocery store, and I loved both of them. Been a fan of fighting games and beat 'em ups ever since then. So, uh, and those are still two of the best in my opinion. Um, but for my first console, I remember going to Toys R Us with my mom, and I would have been like 7 years old. So this was like '93, and I'd been saving my money, like doing yard work, doing things, anything I could around the house, stuff like that. Anything my parents would give me, a few quarters for, or a buck or something like that. When I was a kid, raking leaves, doing all kinds of things. Um, I started saving all my money so that I could buy a Nintendo. Because I didn't really know anything about the Super Nintendo, even though it'd been out for several years at this point. None of my friends had one. The only thing I knew about was the NES. And so we went to Toys R Us. I'd saved like $100, and I was going to buy an NES because I think that back then you could get the NES with Mario Brothers 3, I want to say, and one or two controllers for like $100. And so I was going to do that, but thank God when we got there, there was an NES. I want to say there was a Genesis and a Super Nintendo all hooked up with the TVs that you could actually play on in the store in the electronics section of Toys R Us. And thank God there was a guy working there who talked to my mom when she said that I wanted to buy an NES, and he convinced her that the Super Nintendo was better in every way. And more games were going to be coming out for it. It was twice as powerful, 16-bit versus 8-bit, all that stuff. And yeah, to bless this man wherever he is.
Oh God, yes.
I hope he lived a long, happy life. um, and reproduced plentifully, all the things. I hope he had a great life. And um, anyway, because that decision, he whatever he said, he convinced my mom to spend the extra $40 to get the Super Nintendo that
Okay.
was $140. 150 or 140. 146 in my head though. I really think that's what it was. And with two
Okay.
controllers and Super Mario World, not Super Mario Brothers 3,
Wow,
Super
for
Mario
140?
World. Yeah,
Wow, for
100
140? Wow.
$140, two controllers and Super Mario World. Yep. And it was amazing. It was incredible. I loved it so much immediately. Like I can't even tell you how much nostalgia I have for Super Mario World specifically. It wasn't the first Mario game I played, but it was the first one I owned, and to this day I think it's a perfect game. Like I just
Yeah, it's a
There's
fun, it's
there
a
there's
great game.
nothing there is nothing they could have done that would have been better than Super Mario World. Uh, in my opinion, with the tech that they had at the time. Um, and I can't
Oh,
imagine a
oh, wow.
better first game for a kid to own than Super Mario World. It was so much fun because not only did you have all the cool stuff of the earlier Mario Brothers games, but you had Yoshi too. So it was like you had a dinosaur buddy to
Oh,
go through the
hell
whole
yeah.
thing with.
I like the sound he makes when he gulps shit up.
Yep,
Look.
eats all the stuff. Yeah, it was so much fun. So much fun. It was like having a digital pet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Hey,
great.
what about how amazed were you when I know I was amazed when I played Mario 64, man. What a leap
Oh
with the
yeah,
3D
yeah.
64-bit. He could fuck with his face in the main menu and shit.
That's
I was
what.
like, wow.
Oh my god, like that. I'm pretty sure it was the same Toys R Us I went to the first time I played Mario 64. And I don't know if I knew it had come out yet. I know I'd heard of it. I'd seen the. I want to say I saw a Nintendo 64, probably in a magazine or something. I had seen it, and I had seen the controller, and that controller looked like a spaceship to me, man. Like I couldn't believe how crazy that controller looked the first time I saw a Nintendo. It still looks amazing to me. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I still love that controller because at the
That's the man of
time
control.
I was like 10 years
Mm.
old when that came out, and it the Nintendo 64 was just like crack for kids. If you were like my age, that was like the
Yeah.
coolest thing ever. The PlayStation
Yeah.
was the PlayStation was a little more I don't know, like it was kind of like the Sega in some ways. It was a little more like a teenager's kind of system. I feel like for a lot of the games that came out for it, but the
Uh-huh.
Nintendo was like the
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo 64, like you said, Mario 64, Zelda, the Donkey Kong stuff, Diddy Kong Racing, Mario Kart, Star Fox. Like I talked to
Yeah.
Retro Ryan about this when I did his top five interview about his five favorite games. We recognized what a big influence animals had on us when we were kids. Not just in outside of gaming, but also in gaming. Because in Sonic the Hedgehog, you get to save all the woodland creatures. You know, at the end of the levels, you're
Uh-huh.
playing a super powered hedgehog, which is pretty cool by itself. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know, in Mario, you get to hang out with Yoshi, and there's all the other dinosaurs in the Mario games, and you know, the turtles and everything. Like everything is animal based in kids video, at least the older kids video games when we were kids. It was like everything was based around animals, like the biggest stuff: Sonic, Mario, Pokemon, right? Even being fictitious animals, but they were huge. It was a big deal. And yeah, so when Mario 64 came out, I remember going into that Toys R Us, running up to the controller. Nobody was there. That's what's really weird. I don't know if this is actually how it happened or just how I
Mm.
remember it because it's more magical this way. Like going into this Toys R Us in the middle of the day, I'm sure it was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday work week, whatever. Uh, and because we had to go there probably for like to see the dentist or something. That's what we used to go to the city for, was because I'd go to the dentist. And after that, my mom would take me
Yeah.
to like, get McDonald's or something and then go to Toys R Us. I had a pretty great childhood, I have to say, like as far as that stuff went. Um, and so running into Toys R Us and seeing the Nintendo 64 hooked up with a TV there. Nobody was there, and Mario 64 was on there. Mario's face was on there. Grab the controller and immediately figure out like, oh,
Yeah.
oh my God, I can grab his face and move it around, and he makes all these funny noises. It was amazing. That 3D face was like life changing. Oh my God. That was like the sound was so good. It was the music was great. Like everything was just so enhanced.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
it was just a life changing thing. And then playing it, running around that first level, just right at the castle,
Yeah.
running around the
Uh,
castle in a 3D world. Like I had played 3D games before, technically 3D games. I had Star Fox on my Super Nintendo. I had a joystick that I used
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the fight stick for the Super Nintendo. I'd use that with Star Fox. It was super fun. But I I had never trying to think other 3D games. We played Doom. My friend had a Genesis and a 32X, and we played Doom on his 32X. Uh, that might have actually been after this, though. Yeah, I think that was after this. So I really hadn't had a lot of experience playing 3D games, and if I had, they were very pixelated. This was the first like polygonal 3D game I played that I can remember, and I'm sure it was for a lot of people too. It was
yeah,
that was a big one. Mario 64 being in 3D, man. And I think to this
yeah. It
day
was
that's the
good.
biggest jump gaming's ever taken between two generations. Uh,
Yeah,
is going from the
yes,
Super Nintendo Genesis to the 64 PlayStation Saturn. I think that's the biggest jump that's
yeah,
happened.
yeah. I agree, man. That's a huge jump.
And not that they weren't great systems. Like I would say honestly, the Super Nintendo's library I think is just unbeatable. I think it's got an incredible library of games. But so does the PlayStation, the first one. You know. um.
Yeah, that was,
So. Yeah.
I was thinking. I was thinking. I never owned a Sega Genesis as a kid. I never owned it. I remember
Mhm.
I used to go to school with this kid, and he had Sonic the Hedgehog. I remember I went to a relative's house.
Mhm.
They had Sega Genesis, and
Okay.
I remember it was playing Little Mermaid, and it was playing Sonic the Hedgehog. I wanted to play Sonic. I wanted to own Sonic so fucking bad.
Mhm.
I was like, this looks so fucking fun.
Right.
But I remember asking my mom because she bought me a Genesis, and she was like, she said, "Nigga, you better be happy with the Nintendo."
Right.
I'm like, "Mom, come on!" Like, nope. Green Nintendo. You don't need a Genesis. I'm like, "Mom." So that's how I never got one because she refused to buy me one. And
Mhm.
the main game I wanted to play was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yep.
It wasn't until I was overgrown as an adult when I got the Sonic the Hedgehog collection for the PS2, and I finally owned Sonic. I got
Mhm.
to play it.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that's what's so cool about being an older gamer is there's all these. There were so many games even when we were kids that we just missed. You know,
Yeah,
just missed them. You know, and now it's like you can buy a collection very easily of all the most of the major franchises anyway, Eh,
hmm,
or you can emulate most of those games very easily now. If you got you know a basic computer, you can emulate them on your phone. You know, you can get a little controller and play it like a Game Boy. You know that sort of
yeah,
thing.
you can.
Um,
Yeah,
that your phone will fit in. That which is just it's so cool that you can do
yeah,
that these days. I know everybody feels a certain kind of way about emulation, but I'm a tech guy. I like the ability. I like the fact that we can do these things if we want to.
yeah. The fact you
Um,
could do it, that's great.
yeah. So, whatever your feelings are about emulators, I'm not trying to say you should or shouldn't use them. It's just I just think it's awesome that the tech exists. Um, but yeah, man.
And what about the retro?
What's that?
And what about the retro pies, man? Those are fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, the
They
retro
got,
pies
they
are
got
so cool.
tons of,
You know what's so
tons of
weird?
games.
It feels like to me we are so spoiled for choice now. Kids nowadays are
Yeah,
so spoiled for choice. Like
yeah.
could you have imagined could you imagine like being like 10 years old like right now? Like
Uh huh.
with all of the games that are out there, all of the different consoles, the history too of just all the stuff that was coming out when we were kids. It's already out for kids nowadays. Like if they just develop an interest in Mario, it's like, oh, by the way, there's 40 Mario games you can play. You know, like if they develop an interest in Pokemon, oh, there's 80 Pokemon games you can play. You know, you don't have to wait for new games
Yeah,
to come out. You will never run out of games to play, even if you're like 10 years old right now. You know,
yeah, I've beaten a lot more games in the past because I couldn't buy anymore. You know what I'm
hmm
saying?
yeah, yeah,
And
me
they
too.
wasn't like,
Oh, dude, when we were kids, it was a big deal to
yeah,
get a game. It was a
yeah, it
huge deal to
was.
get a new game, especially a new game. That hardly ever happened. But getting a, I'd usually hit the. This is how I learned how to be such a frugal game collector. You know, my parents would always hit the clearance bins at EB Games and uh, you
Yeah.
know, back in the day, Babbage's. The kids don't know what these stores
Oh,
are.
I
Basically,
remember Babbage's. I remember
right?
that
Remember
Babbage's.
that?
Yes.
Babbage's, EB Games.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
KB
Yeah.
Toys
Yeah.
was the thing with
Yeah.
Toys R Us, and there were a lot.
Yeah.
Basically, when me and Chrome were kids, you could buy video games in a lot of different places. Then they
Yeah.
weren't all GameStop and Amazon like it is now, right? Like
Right. It wasn't.
GameStop was like 10 different stores if you look at like across the country. There were all these different
Yeah.
stores. And I've only been to a few of them myself because I've always lived in the South, so I never got to see a bunch of the other stores that GameStop ate, I'm sure. But and honestly, since it came up, I just want to say it was better. It was just better because you always had several stores you could go buy a game. They had to compete with each other. It created more competition. There were more, so inevitably like you could get stuff I feel like for better deals back then. Or they'd have more unique things. That was the other thing I remember being a kid. I remember going to the mall in a nearby city, and I remember going in. This was after the PlayStation was out and the Saturn,
I miss going
because
into a mall.
behind the glass at this store, I can't remember if it was an EB Games or a Babbage's. It was something like that, and I think it was an EB Games, but it was such a cool EB Games. Like everything in there was Japanese. Like behind the glass, it was all imports. And when I was,
Oh,
and this is
wow.
like mid 90s, so I'm looking at that stuff like,
Mm.
oh my God, this is all of this is from the motherland. Like, like I was just
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is from where everything comes from. And I was just so
Yeah.
enamored of it. I was like, I was so excited just to see it. Might not buy any of it. It was all super expensive. Everything was like $80 plus, and all in Japanese, so I couldn't even use it. But I just remember going in there and being able to see all the Japanese versions of games like Darkstalkers and Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Resident Evil Biohazard was probably in there, where it just said Biohazard. Like there were and stuff I'd never heard of. There were all these JRPGs I'd never heard of at all. Still don't know what they were to this day. But you know, um, I wish I'd had a camera I could have used as a kid just to take a photo of it so I could look up what the hell were those games. A lot of them
That's
were
a shame
probably
that
Japanese only, right? They probably weren't even
yeah,
released here.
yeah.
So,
Right. That's what I was about to say. It's a
yeah,
shame that some of those games will never be released here. That's a shame.
you're dependent on fan translations if you can even get them to play at all. So,
Yeah.
it's but that was like the level. That was the other thing I really loved about being a gamer in the 90s. Still do to a lesser extent, but I still think about this
Yeah.
from time to time. We're really
Hmm.
experiencing a uh, just such a unique merging of cultures. I feel like, and I know we get that in music and movies too, to some degree. But I feel like when you play a video game, you're experiencing a piece of art that so many different people, if you traced it back, like what it took to make that possible, to create that thing, it's people from all over the world were involved, and especially Japan. So it's just something I think about from time to time that I think is really cool about the hobby.
Yeah. Being a gamer is great. I mean, uh, it's too bad that today these games are like lackluster as fuck, man. I mean, you can't even get hyped for them anymore. It's like I was thinking about that earlier. How it's sad that we can't get hyped for games anymore because we be suspect it's gonna be some fucking woke shit and
Right.
agenda filled bullshit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's a shame, man.
It is. It's
It's a
not like
shame.
it was back in the day. You know, back in the 90s, it was. God, you heard about Zelda Ocarina of Time. Back when you
Mm,
heard about it, it was Zelda 64. Nobody knew what it was going to be called. But you were hearing about Zelda.
right.
As soon as the Nintendo 64 came out, I remember it. Nintendo Power was talking about Zelda. You know, there's a Zelda
Hmm.
game in the works. And let me tell you, Chrome, I don't think I have lived a longer 2 years than from 1996 to 1998 when Zelda Ocarina of Time finally came out. The anticipation I had for that game. I've never experienced. I've never experienced anything like it before or since that slowed
Holy shit.
time down to a
Oh.
crawl.
Yeah,
I
Zelda's awesome, man. I remember playing it on the Nintendo.
Yep.
I had the gold cartridge too.
Oh, I did too.
I
Yeah.
had that. Oh, the gold, that was
Oh,
fucking dope.
you're talking
Gold
about the
cartridge.
original. You're talking about the original.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I never
yeah.
had that. I never had the NES. I missed it completely as a
That's
system.
right. You didn't.
Yeah,
You didn't.
now I had friends that had it, and they had Link's
Yeah.
Adventure, like the second one, and so
Uh huh.
I played them both a little bit, but I never had a lot of time to really dive into them. It's actually a goal of mine
Hmm.
to beat the original Legend of Zelda someday. That's still on my bucket
Oh,
list.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really want to do that at some point.
Hey, did you? I remember when I first heard of Zelda. I thought that was Link.
Yeah, right.
I thought Link's name was Zelda,
Yeah, I did too, because that's
and I didn't know they was referring to the elf princess that he rescues and all that
hmm
shit. His name was Zelda.
right.
You thought that too?
hmm Well, I was
I
confused,
thought
that's
I
for
was probably in
sure.
the minority. Yeah, I
hmm
thought I was probably in the minority that I actually confused. I thought his name was Zelda.
Well, and back then
His name is actually Link.
we didn't have all this gender confusion stuff, so it was like, I don't know, it's this little pixelated person. Like maybe his name is Zelda. Now it would be like, obviously it's a dude. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Named Link. Link to the Past.
him,
It even says Link to the Past, but I
right?
thought that wasn't a name. I thought it was just a description.
I did too.
Like, you
So,
see what I'm talking about?
yep.
You see what I'm talking about?
No, I went through that for sure. Same thing. Yeah, the Zelda games were something else. I mean, Zelda Link to the Past is still one of my favorite games. I love that game.
Yeah, the feminists don't talk about how they don't praise Zelda. Says is named after a female character.
Mm-hmm.
Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
It's not called Link. It's
And
called Zelda.
they just would complain that, oh, well, Zelda hasn't been the hero or whatever. And it's like,
Yeah, she
well,
doesn't fight. Yes,
if you
yes,
play
she
the
can. She
game,
can fight.
she does some hero shit. Like,
She does. She does fight.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember when that was. But I found that out because in the latest Zelda games, you can actually see her fight. I said that's cool. She's not just a princess that can't fight
right.
like Princess Peach. She can
Mm-hmm.
actually fucking fight.
Well, I don't know,
I was
dude.
like, that's fucking dope.
You need to play Smash Brothers if you think Peach can't fight.
You know what I mean? You're talking about
I
like
know,
with
I know.
Mario 1 and 2
I'm
and
just
all
giving
that
you a
shit.
hard time.
You can play in Mario 2. She does.
Mm-hmm. Peach is OP in
Yeah,
Mario
she
2,
fight. Yeah,
man,
she
because you can
fights in
float
Mario
over
2.
everything.
But in 1 and 3 she doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she doesn't fight in every game though. Not one
Right.
in Mario 1 she doesn't. 3 she doesn't.
Well, that's why Peach
Mario
is such a
World she
cool
doesn't.
character, because she's like, no one would say that Princess Peach isn't really feminine, even though she's been in a fighting game and she's been
Oh, she is.
in Mario 2. She's like a really
Yeah, she
feminine
can't. Yeah, she does.
character, you know, and I like that
Yeah.
about her. I think Peach.
And look feminine.
I've always thought Princess Peach
She
was
looks
great.
feminine too.
Yep. Yep. I've always loved Princess Peach. Even before she was Princess Peach, she used to just be the princess. We didn't know what the fuck her name was.
I wonder how many people thought Pauline was Peach, when in reality it was two different people.
Mm-hmm.
Because Pauline was in Donkey Kong on she was the one you had to rescue in Donkey Kong back in Atari, and
Ah.
Mario's known as Jumpman,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't
Yeah.
have a name. But Mario and Jumpman are the same person, but it's theorized that actually. I read a good theory about Jumpman. I wish it was true that Jumpman is actually Mario's father, and
Oh.
Pauline was actually Mario's mother.
Okay.
That was like a theory.
Interesting.
I wish that it would have been cool if that was true, but it's not, because
Mm-hmm.
in reality, Jumpman is actually Mario, and Pauline is actually not Peach, and it's not his mother. It was just some chick who let's face it, he was trying to fuck before he met Peach. You know what I'm saying? Let's face it.
Let's face the music.
And I'm gonna tell you what I thought was cool that Nintendo did with the later games. They actually included Pauline in the game alongside Peach.
Oh, really? I don't think I
'Cause I
knew
know a lot
that.
of people think that Pauline's debut was. 'Cause I wonder how many people know that Pauline was actually out before Peach. She was actually in Donkey Kong back in Atari. That was Pauline. So a character is that character,
I didn't know this.
you know.
Because
And
I never played the old Donkey
oh,
Kong.
really?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
That was just a little before my time.
yeah. So she debuted in Donkey Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of before it was before mine too.
Yeah.
But I remember, but I do remember. I learned that her name was. I didn't know her name was Pauline though.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that until like later. And then when I saw her again in the Wii games, the Mario Wii games, I said, wait a minute, she's based off the. Oh, okay, that's cool. Okay,
Right.
so they brought her back pretty much, Pauline, the original woman in distress.
Mm-hmm.
And what about speaking of Donkey Kong? I don't know if this is a theory or not, but the first Donkey Kong, I mean Donkey Kong of Donkey Kong Atari, right?
Yep.
Is he the father of is he actually Cranky Kong?
He might be. Uh,
Younger?
yeah. I honestly
That's like when he
don't
was
know.
younger. And Donkey Kong, like and Donkey Kong from Nintendo, like Donkey Kong and Diddy, Donkey Kong's actually a son
Yeah,
or something like that.
it might be.
And Cranky
Yeah.
Kong is the original Donkey Kong.
We should probably ask Retro Ryan
Yeah,
because he's such a big Donkey Kong fan.
yeah, I
He
think
would know
that's
all of
cool.
this lore.
Man, I'm wondering about that now because that's pretty fucking cool. And you also had Donkey Kong Jr.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm thinking that the Donkey Kong, I mean Cranky Kong is actually the original Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong Jr. is Donkey Kong's father, the one that
Mm.
came out with the Super Nintendo. Because
Mm-hmm.
you playing the original Donkey Kong's grandson with Donkey Kong and Diddy. Because Donkey
Oh,
Kong Jr. is you get you follow me?
right. Yeah.
I hope I'm making sense there on how the family line goes. I just think that's interesting to think about.
It is. Yeah. Who beget who? Of
Yeah, because I just
all
thought
these
about Donkey Kong
monkeys.
Jr.
Right? Yeah, because he's in Donkey Kong
Monkeying
Country
around.
3, right?
Oh
Donkey Kong Jr.
no, that's another one. That's
Oh, I'm
that's uh
thinking of yeah, the baby one.
that's another Kong. Yeah, the baby Kong. No, that's another one.
Yeah.
That's not Junior himself. No,
I haven't played any Donkey Kong Country games since Donkey Kong Country 3 on the Super Nintendo. Have you played the later ones?
I only played Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3 on the Super Nintendo. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, that's me too. I played Diddy Kong Racing, but
Yeah.
I didn't play. I haven't played
Um,
what is it? Oh, Donkey Kong Country 64. I never played that one.
I never played it either. I never played it either.
I heard it was good,
So
but I never played it.
yeah, man. Well, the next one is concerning Star Wars lightsabers.
Okay. What do you got about Star Wars?
The, how the lightsaber ridiculous survival, how people survive a lightsaber being stabbed through the stomach, and yeah, Qui-Gon was stabbed through the stomach in one, but he dies. And you
Right.
got Reva, she survived it, and you had the other dude, or the fuck his name is, he survived it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And you're like,
and not
what is
to
this
mention when
bullshit?
Rita, yeah, when Reva was stabbed, she was a kid by Anakin, okay? Because Order 66,
Hmm.
he went to the Jedi Temple to take out the younglings, and she was supposed to be one of them. And
Oh,
he
okay.
stabs her.
Wow.
She somehow survived. I'm gonna tell you. Somebody actually said they was actually questioning was she really stabbed, or
Hmm.
was it a metaphor? I was like,
Oh.
motherfucker, no, it wasn't. She was literally stabbed as a kid and somehow survived.
Okay.
They tried to so the ones who are liking the show, they say, oh, that was a metaphor, man. She wasn't really stabbed.
Oh.
I
Wait.
was like, did the
First of
plot
all,
tell you that?
tell me about this character. Who is this character? I'm not familiar. Reva, you said?
Yeah, Reva's supposed to be this character's so fucked up. Uh she's supposed to be she was a child in the Jedi Temple
Mm-hmm.
when Anakin came to kill her. She was she was raised she was a Jedi youngling, she was
Okay.
one of the younglings. And when Anakin came there to kill all the younglings, he supposedly had killed her, but she somehow survived.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Now,
and
is Reva,
what happened?
is she in the Acolyte then, or what show is she in?
No, she's in that Kenobi series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's in there. So what happened was somehow she ended up becoming Vader's apprentice. She grew up
Hmm.
learning the Sith
Mm-hmm.
ways and the arts and all that shit from Vader. Even though Vader should have killed her because he
Mm-hmm.
was taxed to kill all the younglings.
Right.
Why would he take one in? Was he so impressed that she survived the lightsaber to the stomach?
Maybe.
Oh shit, she's tough. I don't know what the fuck. So, anyways, the funny thing part of the story is because she always wanted revenge on him, but she never did it
Hmm.
after all this time.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, when she decides to attack him, Vader, without turning around, blocks her lightsaber attack,
Hmm.
and he talks about like, I always knew you wanted to try to kill me and all that shit. I was like, what are you talking about? It was just our characters are just fucking stupid.
Hmm.
Oh my god! It's like from what I remember of her, she was supposed to be killed again, but she somehow survived, and
Hmm.
she found out the coordinates about because somebody conveniently dropped the radio of the coordinates of where Luke is at.
Uh-huh.
So she conveniently heard that after she was recovering from an injury
Okay.
because of plot convenience. She goes to try to kill Luke. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the family is trying to protect the boy, telling the boy to run. And since it's supposed to be canon, Luke didn't die. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So so she ends up. This character's so fucked. She ends up having a redemption arc where she's all sorry that what she did and how la la la. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Are y'all afraid to kill off black characters now? What is going on here? She's fucking dead. They should kill her.
That's probably what it
And
is.
we all knew, those of us that are smart. Yeah, those of us that are smart knew that she wasn't gonna die. It was predicted she was gonna be redeemed. Predicted, and who was right? No
Hmm.
surprise.
Right.
It's like this bitch survived 2 lightsaber attacks. Okay, 2. One as
Mm-hmm.
a child, one's an adult.
Yep.
Of course, they're not going to kill her.
Right.
Of course, they're not. I mean, a light, and I read, and I also uncovered some information, more information about the lightsaber. It's supposed to be 20,000 degrees hot.
Damn.
20,000, okay, degrees.
Wow.
Nobody can logically survive that shit. Nobody.
No. Well, the theory was
Now, as much as
wasn't the theory that it would cauterize the wound. So if you didn't hit a critical organ or thing, if you didn't destroy enough, like it would just cauterize, burn itself over. That's why like Luke's hand gets cut off and he's not bleeding profusely because it instantly
yeah,
cauterized it.
yeah, it covers up the wound so it won't bleed to death. But when you cut your arm, yeah, yeah, I know how that makes sense.
But what's weird
I
about that,
mean,
and here's the
that's a reason
hole,
not to have blood
that,
gushing out.
right?
That'd be
But
fucking
then
horrible.
Obi-Wan took off that guy's arm in the cantina, and there was blood with that, right? So it's like there's still gonna be some blood at least, but you know, I don't know. It's just not super consistent or clear
Yeah, but
to
Luke
me,
didn't bleed it. I'm gonna get his hand off.
right?
Wow.
Why is
Yeah,
that?
Luke didn't bleed at all when his hand was cut off.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't fucking know.
I don't either.
It's it's like as much as I hate the Acolyte, at least people was actually fucking surprised with episode 5 when people actually died from a lightsaber wound. They died
Mm-hmm.
because everybody was expecting. Cause before they always made them live and shit. So we was surprised as fuck that those Jedi actually got killed by that Sith
Mm-hmm.
being struck fatally by a lightsaber. Because there was this one chick that got struck by one, and everybody's expecting her to walk that shit off, but she didn't. She died. We
Mm-hmm.
was like, holy shit, she actually fucking died.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell. I even posted this on. I posted this on Discord. I said episode 5 was fucking shitty as expected, but episode 4, my bad. Episode 4 was shitty
Mm-hmm.
as expected, but the only cool thing about it, fucking insane. The only cool thing about it was when the Sith appeared at the fucking end.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I actually fucking like that shit. Because the way he appeared, first he appeared behind the good twin, right? He
Yeah.
appears, it's like he floats down like cool in a motherfucker. And then she turns around, then he ignites his lightsaber. You can see like the red glow all
Mm-hmm.
over her face and shit. I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. But it was comical when he force pushed her to the side instead of just fucking killing her for some reason. He
Mm-hmm.
forces pushes to the side, which was look comical as fuck. And then with the force, he pushes like 20 Jedi away with a push. And that was the end of the episode. I was like, that's the only cool part about it.
Wow. That's sad.
It took, think about it, it took 4 fucking episodes for them to come out with a scene that I actually fucking liked. That's
Wow.
sad. It's fucking sad.
What's amazing to me is that you're still like
I was like,
you're
holy shit.
still paying attention to this dumpster fire. Like that's what's amazing to me.
No, I'm watching people that's shitting on it
Right.
and criticizing the shit out of it. It's fucking fun to watch, man. I like to laugh at it.
Right. No, I know. I get it.
Episode 5, because episode 5, before episode 5 came out, they was like, you're going to see a lightsaber duel better than the prequels. You're going to see a better lightsaber duel than that.
Mm.
No surprise they were wrong. Everybody was shitting the fuck out of the choreography.
That
Like, oh,
really.
this makes no sense. That makes no sense. Yeah, I was like, yeah, see, no,
The thing is,
like, don't try to get boasty.
if you've got something like that, you don't have to advertise it either, because the fans are gonna see it and they're all gonna be talking about it. So, That's what's
Yeah,
kind of
but they were
dumb.
saying
If they
like
make
this.
any kind of claim like that, oh, it's better than blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, right, bullshit.
They think quantity makes shit better, which is fucking dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, because the whole lightsaber battle in episode 5 of Acolyte was like 21 minutes long. You would
Yeah.
think, oh, that's cool. We get 21 minutes for fighting, but it was shitty the whole time. So what's the point? I mean,
Yep.
people like go back to Revenge of the Sith. Anakin versus Obi-Wan was a total about 11 minutes, and that was better.
Wow.
And it was only 11 minutes total.
Mm-hmm.
11 minutes versus 23 minutes.
Damn.
Why? The question is, why do people like the 11-minute battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin as opposed to the 23-minute battle between all these Jedi and this one Sith?
Because it was obviously filmed better.
Yeah.
Like you said,
and number two,
yeah.
and number two, well, Obi-Wan and Anakin, we had reason to give a fuck about them because we saw them through two films before that.
Right.
Former best friends fighting to the death. And we also people gave a shit about them, but fast forward to the Acolyte, nobody gives a shit about nobody in that anyway. So why would we care about the battles?
Yep. Absolutely. I wouldn't care at all.
It's like, yeah, we got 20 minutes, 23 minutes worth of fighting. I'm like, okay, big deal. It was shitty because the choreography was shitty, and we didn't give a fuck about any character in there.
Yep.
So all the deaths we wasn't affected. Oh, the Jedi died. Oh well.
Yep. Don't care at all. I mean, I'm not even following it. That's like how little, and it's a Star
Right.
Wars thing. I love Star Wars. And I gave up on this after
Mm-hmm.
what, the second episode? I was like, yeah, there's no
Yeah.
saving this. This is trash. It's,
No, it's trash, man. I
yep.
can fucking watch it on television. I would never watch it.
No.
I'd rather just watch the critical reviews, the
Yep.
critical the criticism
Mm-hmm.
about it, and just sit back and enjoy my popcorn, man. It's like, yeah, this is shitty again.
It's gotten sad though. Like I feel like that's most new properties these days, or there's some level of that. Like you said, you're just not really excited for much of anything because it's not like when we were kids when stuff coming out was actually good. Nowadays, it's like, oh well, it's either gonna be woke or broken at release or both. If whether it's a video game or a movie,
Yeah.
then I'll just want my money back. Like that's literally all that would happen.
Oh man. So the next one is number 4.
Okay.
Uh this is concerning the 360. This is concerning Microsoft's ass. Now I remember when I first heard the store being closed, I was fucking bummed about it, obviously, but I was like, well, I guess I got to get my shit before it closes down. No shit.
Right.
So when I was trying to purchase something, all of a sudden, for the very first fucking time, my card did not work.
Ooh.
I couldn't purchase all of a sudden. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Damn.
Why the fuck does this got to happen to me now? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I vowed. I made a vow. I said, I know I can buy a gift card, redeem that fucker,
Mm.
and buy shit like that. But I say, you know what? Fuck you, Microsoft. If I can't use my debit card, I told Tyler this too. If I can't use my debit card to
Mm.
buy anything off your system, you ain't getting my money.
Right.
Because I already think it's fucked up you closing the store down as it is. I'm not
Oh
finna
yeah.
jump through hoops because you want to close the store down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it.
I feel the same way, honestly. When I saw that whole thing,
You
I was
know?
like, oh, you've gotta add money with a debit card, purchase Xbox
Yeah,
points
some
or
some
whatever the
users
hell it
do,
is.
unfortunately.
Yeah, like that whole thing to me was so dumb. Because I was like, why would you make it
I
harder
thought
for? people to buy this stuff right before you're closing the store. Like, that's so stupid.
It is.
I mean, you're gonna
I
lose
mean,
all the
thankfully,
casuals, right?
Microsoft didn't do that.
Like, the casuals aren't
Yeah.
gonna do this shit at all, right? They're not gonna waste, like,
No,
because
they're
they're just
not.
casual gamers. They
They're
don't
not.
care that much, you know. But
Right.
how much money is Microsoft losing because they won't just accept credit cards at checkout in the console? You know, like, I that's a really bad
I mean, they
plan.
do. No, they do. It's just some people have an issue with using theirs, and some don't.
Mm,
Unfortunately, they still accept. They do accept cards.
okay.
It's just a. I was telling Tyler, I said you can. I said it might clear up for you, man, because I watched your video. You said you had issue, and I had the same issue before, but it cleared up for me.
Right.
You know, and hopefully it'll clear up for you too. Before the store closes. So I told him, I said get something cheap like $1,
Right. Just test
just
it.
to see if it's gonna let you buy
Mm-hmm.
that item. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You could do that, but if you got to resort to buying if you got to resort to buying gift cards again, well, you just do that, damn, because I know I'm not. Fuck them.
Right. No.
I mean, I do
That's.
want to get more shit off the store. There's a couple of games that I want to get off the
Mm-hmm.
store that I want, but if I get them because my car want to say fuck me. I'm gonna say fuck Microsoft too. It's that simple.
Right. Well, and there's no reason why a corporation that big can't accept multiple forms of payment. They're not accepting multiple forms of payment or doing it well for everybody. That's a choice. They certainly have the infrastructure, the money, everything to make it easy for you to pay them. They're just choosing not to do it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I'm like, we paying you, motherfuckers. Take our
Right.
money.
Yeah.
Make it convenient so we can pay your ass.
Right.
Why are you taking shit away from us, man? That was my thing with Sony's ass when they decided to fucking alter how you fucking buy PS3 games and shit. You can't
Yep.
use a simple debit card anymore like you could do on PS4. You can't
Mm-hmm.
do it. You have to fucking go to your PS4 or the website, buy a gift card or add funds from your debit card, then fire up the PS3 again
Mm.
just to buy the shit off PS3.
Mm-hmm.
Can't redeem my shit on the PS.
No, that is
I
really
come up here.
annoying.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck?
When I heard that, that's what I was thinking. I was sorry, I was getting confused with the PS3 thing. That's what it is with PS3 now.
Yeah, the
You have
PS3
to
was doing
add
it.
money to the
Yeah,
account, right?
yeah,
That's what you got
yeah.
to do. And that's when I heard that, I was like, I'm done with the PS3 store. Like, I'm not gonna do that shit at all.
I haven't bought shit since, man.
Nah.
There's a couple of games I want from the PS3 store that I can't get on the PS4. In fact, it's
Mm-hmm.
like 4 games I want.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna eventually get a gift card. I'm gonna do the fucking hoop thing to do it, but I ain't in a rush, man. The store's not. I mean, the store's not on thin ice.
Right.
I'm
Well,
focusing on getting my shit from the Xbox store.
this is the other thing I thought about a little bit. Maybe Microsoft is closing the 360 store because, well, they've got backwards compatibility. They've got way more backwards compatibility than Sony does right now. And they're thinking like, oh yeah, well, everything that's still backwards compatible will still be able to sell that. So it's not a big deal to just stop, hosting the 360 or whatever as a platform. But for Sony, the PS3 still really matters because they don't have any backwards compatibility for it. That's the
Yeah,
only way you
that's
can play
true.
those games for the most part.
Yeah, like Infamous, the Infamous games, they never
Yeah,
re-released them HD on
and they're
PS4.
and they're not on PC, so you have to have a PS3 to play them.
See, that's what I'm
Um,
saying.
yeah, but I would think that perhaps, and I don't know, maybe the older games there's not enough money in it, but I would think that if you're like, Sony's going to be in this case where you're still supporting that generation directly, do you make more money in digital sales all of a sudden because the 360 store is closed? And people who have 360s can't buy games anymore. They don't want to get newer hardware but they could pick up a PS3, or maybe they got a PS3 collecting dust, but the store's still open, so they start to buy more games on that. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen at this point or not. Just something I've been
Yeah.
thinking about. How does that all go down? Because you would think that if enough people still have working hardware, you might get some more sales like that if you keep your digital store open longer than your direct competitor.
Yeah. It would give them the edge over the. It would give them the edge
Yeah.
over the competition.
And I would go a step further to say that I would even consider making it a selling point. You know, if I was one of these two companies and being like,
Mhm.
the other guy doesn't care, right? Look at him. He shut his
Right.
store down. But look at me, like
Right.
I'm committed to X number of years of keeping the store open. Like I'd even maybe go public about it and say like, you know, as soon as
I
they
would do
close
that
their
too.
store, I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
so if you have a PS3 now, we're guaranteeing you this store is going to be online for the next decade, as of right now.
Right.
You know,
Come on
and
down.
announce it like the
Yeah.
time the Xbox store closes, like right there. Do an event. If I was Sony, I'd be doing an event around it and be like, we're gonna celebrate another 10
Me too.
years of the PS3 store support, you know, and we're committing to that right now as a company. If you own a PS3, you'll be able to buy digital games for the next decade on the platform. You know, it would
That'd be
be.
fucking beautiful.
Wouldn't that be amazing if that happened?
Yeah. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful if they did that.
And that would really score them some points for me a little bit, because I feel like they dropped the ball on backwards compatibility first. You know, so Sony's kind of on my shit list for the backwards compatibility right now, because they basically abandoned the
But
PS3. You know,
Sony steady releasing PS2 games on the PS5 because they call the PS5 the new PS3 and shit.
right? Well, and did you hear about
You heard
that this
about that?
week? Yeah, that's the thing, right? They filed a
Yeah, they
patent.
releasing all these PS3 games. Yeah.
hmm They filed a patent for some sort of tech that can apparently make the PS5 play PS3 discs. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
yeah,
I was like, okay, that's pretty cool.
yeah. I mean, that would
That's
be
pretty cool.
also a very cool thing to do. I can tell you, I would be buying. There are some PS3 games I would be looking for if that actually became possible, just to collect on discs. I would love to be able to do that. Um, I'm probably gonna do
To
that
clear
some
something
anyway,
up
because
though.
Ty Lord just sent me his like one of the PS3 Slims he had. He had, I think, an extra one, so he sent it to me. I'm actually cleaning that up right now. I don't know if you saw on Discord. I posted some pics. I've totally gutted it. I'm clean. I'm doing a deep clean, man, like pro level clean, like getting all the dust out. I'm gonna redo the thermal paste for the CPU and GPU, and get everything like as close to new as I can, because I've had several PS3s overheat on me over the years, and I don't want that to happen with this one.
Yeah, I just want to make one thing clear though. I'm not. I know I made tons of fucking vlogs shitting on Sony,
Hmm.
and rightly so. I don't regret it. I don't regret it.
Yeah.
This is not no regret.
Sure.
I mean, they deserve it.
Yeah.
But cherry to make to popular belief that I fucking love shitting on Sony, I do like praising them too.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get that chance, I jump at it.
Yeah. Because it's very rare.
Yeah, because it's so fucking rare. Because I usually shit on them.
I
God
feel the
damn.
same way. I feel the same way with all of them, honestly. Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. I feel the exact same way. Um, it's it's really unfortunate, um, but I do feel like they all make a lot of mistakes. They all do a lot of, and you know
Yeah.
what's weird about it? They do a lot of uniquely dumb shit. You know, they that's what it is. That's what's so amazing about. You know, they're all the three biggest gaming companies in the world. They all find ways to fuck up that are really unique to
Yeah, they
their
do.
situations. You know, like,
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do, man.
And honestly, I don't know how they do it. Sometimes it's like, how are you all finding different ways to piss me off? Somehow you're doing it. Are y'all having board meetings about, hey, you do this, we'll do that? You know, like just like it's almost like they've coordinated how to piss us off in different ways. 'Cause why would it always be so different? You know,
Yeah, yeah, you so right about that, man.
it's manipulation. Because like if you're a gamer, like we are, like at least like where you're pretty hardcore, pretty into the hobby. There's things you love about all of them, and there's things you absolutely despise about all of them. It's like and I know
Mm-hmm.
this sounds sort of,
Yeah.
well, of course, welcome to life, right? But yeah, but it's so blaringly obvious when it comes to dealing with these major hardware producers. Like it's like they just
It's like fucking marriage, man. There's a lot of things about your wife you can't fucking stand.
right,
That she gets in your nerves, but at the end of the day, you still love her.
right,
That's how it is with these fucking consoles, man. It's
it's
like at the end of the day,
infuriating.
we're enjoying. You know?
Yeah, yeah, it's like they know we're not going to leave them. You know, that's the thing, right? It's like they know they can get away with murder, and we're not going to leave. You know, more than likely, or at least some of us will, but not all of us. You know, it's like yeah, it's like Microsoft knows I'm still gonna have an Xbox because I love Game Pass, and
Yeah.
I like being able to use their digital store because I'm sorry, but in general their games are cheaper
Yeah, they
than
always having a
Sony's.
sale. They
Yeah,
having sales all
they're
the time.
they're
Deep
always
discounts,
having a
man.
sale, always having some kind of
Yeah.
sale. Like if you
Yep.
like digital gaming, I'm sorry, but Xbox is where it's at. You're gonna that's where the most value is. Um,
Yeah.
just
I
is the
wouldn't know.
way
I
it
don't have
is.
an Xbox.
Yeah, but well, and I would say Sony is not far behind, right? They have great sales too every now and then, and they have obviously if you're into RPGs, that's a better system to have, particularly
I remember I tell you
JRPGs.
I remember I bought a game from Sony. It was a arena fighting game,
Hmm.
fully animated, voice, everything. Called Kill la Kill IF.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've got that
Uh,
game.
I bought that because get the regular is $20 for the game,
Hmm.
and I paid under $2 for it
Yeah, I did
on
too.
sale. I'm
Hmm.
20.
We probably got it in the same sale.
Probably did. Probably it was like 164 total. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I
Right?
couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that sale.
It's incredible. Like, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
I know, is like you said, we complain about a lot of stuff. It's nice to sing the praises every now and then. There has never been a better time in history to be a gamer than right now. I know we shit on the whole
Hmm.
woke thing. We shit on how broken games are at release and stuff. But look, if you just don't buy new games, there's never been a better time to be a gamer than right now. Like there just hasn't. Like it's with all of the options you have for hardware and the number of games that are out there, it there's just never been a better time. It's incredible.
Yeah, this is so much. I like to fucking promote indie games, man.
Oh
Just
yeah, and
take a look at
the
that
indie
library
scene is
alone.
insane. The indie scene by
Yeah.
itself, I could have a 10-year-old computer, a 15-year-old computer even, and just play indie games, and I wouldn't get bored.
Yeah.
You
Me
know,
neither. Me neither.
like that's
I
like
got
how
some great
good
indie
the
games.
indie scene is right now. Dude, last year, perfect example. I was having this conversation with a friend earlier today. I was showing her
Okay.
Vampire Survivors. I sent her like a link to it because it's on sale on Steam. That game
Hmm.
is so fucking good. It was my game of the year last year. This thing released for like
Hmm.
$5. It was like $2 at release. Three. He upped the price. I think it's like a single dev. It's like $5. It is the best five
Okay.
dollars you will ever spend for a game. It is infinitely
Wow.
replayable. It is so much fun. If you like, Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings, like any fantasy based, medieval type thing, and you like or maybe some horror stuff too, like it is so much fun. It's sort of a bullet hell type game, but the
Oh, I
firing
don't like.
mecha-
I don't into games like that. Bullet
yeah,
hell.
I
I
don't know
don't
if
like
you'd
them.
like it or not. It's not pure bullet hell, but in the sense of it's constant swarms. So you're constantly getting swarmed by enemies, and you're upgrading your weapons
Oh, I
as
see.
you kill them. But the firing mechanism is automatic. Every weapon you get functions in a different way, but
Uh-huh.
and it just automatically gets deployed as you acquire them. So the screen is like just exploding with all this different stuff once you start leveling up and stuff.
Oh, wow.
It's fucking awesome. I have to say, like, I can't tell you how great this game is. As also a retro person, like, because he does it in this, like, it looks like a early PS1 game, maybe Super Nintendo. It's very colorful, but it's very pixelated. So it's just, you got to check it out. I'll send it to you after this. It's such a cool game. Um, but
There's a.
it's on all the platforms too. You can play that on anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's my game of the year, and that's my
There's a,
point. Is like that game easily could have come out in like 96, 97. That could have
yeah.
easily been
I
out
see many
then,
games like that.
and yeah, the frame rate wouldn't be as good as it is, but still they could have made this same game, and it would have been super fun back then. But I'm playing it last year for the first time, and I'm like, this is the game of the year. This is the best game I've played all year. Very simple mechanic, but it's so addicting. I cannot tell you how many hours I poured into this thing. I just couldn't stop because you unlock new characters. There's like 50 different characters you can be. They have all these different powers and stuff, and so like it's super fun. And then there's different modes. You can use hyper mode, which speeds up time. Everything goes super fast. You start out, it's really a slow game, but once you unlock hyper mode, you can go super fast, and it totally changes the
Hmm.
the game, and it's super fun. The music's insanely good. It's like this little 16-bit soundtrack. It sounds like an old game too. That's the other thing I really like about it. But anyway,
That's
that's
fucking
that's
dope.
the thing I'm saying. Like I could play that on hardware that's 20 years old easily, and it would be or something like that. Those are some of my favorite games coming out right now. They're not these AAA like huge produced
Right.
blah blah.
Right.
Oh, we spent $100 million on the blah. I don't give a shit. I don't care how much you spent to make your game. Is it a good game?
Right.
Like yes or no, right? And for a lot of those AAA games, sadly, lately the answer is definitely no, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And thank God for the indie devs is what I have to say now. As far as like new stuff coming out, indie devs are keeping gaming alive right now.
Yes, they are. They
Uh,
are.
God bless them.
Well, I hope you bought Bloody Good Time, man. I believe it's still $1.
Yeah, it's in my cart.
I mean,
I'm building a cart
oh, okay.
at Steam. Yeah, because of the Steam sales going on right now. So yeah, I'm gonna get that one too. Let me see. I'll open up my cart here. See what I got.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it right quick. I never heard of it until last month when I first saw it. When I was browsing the 360 store
Yep.
and I ran across it and I saw the cover. I said, "Ooh, let me see, what game is this?" Never heard of it. So I started looking into it. I was like, "Oh shit, Comic Mischief, Hot Women, I'm there."
Right? Sign me up.
And then the price point was $1. I said, $1? That's it?
Right?
I bought that so fast. I said, let me get this. Let me get this shit.
This is
And,
something
and,
I've
and
had to.
sure enough,
Oh, go ahead.
it's so much fun to play, man. I could play at least an hour and a half to 2 hours of that game easy.
It looks really fun.
It's so much fun. It's fun as fuck, man. I mean the mischief, how you can kill motherfuckers in different ways and shit. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this game is so much fun. How come I never heard about this before? And I can't get it on PS3. I can't get it on PS4. I'll only play it on the 360. You know,
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those games,
Well,
man. It's
and it's
like
on Steam because you told me it was on Steam, so I could pick it
it's
up because
Steam too. Yep,
yeah,
Steam too.
because I don't have the
Yep,
360. But this is one of those things where to
right.
me it's such a shame that backwards compatibility isn't a bigger priority for Sony and Microsoft in some ways because it's like why would you
Hmm.
all of these games it's like so much time and effort went into making them too, not just serving them up, but just everything that went into making these games, and they're just going to be lost to time. You know, like it's so sad to me to think. I don't think about it a lot because I do find that very depressing. You know,
It is the same. The present. These games gonna be lost forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like it's not like these companies can't afford to maintain these stores or make their new consoles backwards compatible. You know, so that's the other thing that pisses me off. It's just about greed. It's not like it's this impossible thing to do.
But you think the CEO will have some sympathy by not closing the store down because he's a gamer himself?
Yeah, that too, right? If he
It's
was,
like, dude, what
it's
the
like,
fuck?
is he really though? Like, if he was really a gamer, like this would,
Right? It make you question it, doesn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
this wouldn't even be a thing.
It's like,
You know, it's like if
shit.
I was running Microsoft, of course if we got this much backwards compatibility, we're going all the way. You know, like let's commit to it. You know, like
Yeah.
because I'm
Right.
also gonna view that as this is how I absolutely crush Sony. You know, like that's that's my thing. And in that
Yeah.
gen, it's like this is how I wreck them completely. You know, like that. Microsoft had that edge, man. They still do with what the Series X can do. It obviously has more backwards compatibility than the PS5, but they didn't go all the way. You know, there's a lot of stuff that isn't supported, unfortunately.
There's no competition anymore, man. I wish they were still around because these game systems would be better if they were actually competing with each other like Nintendo and Genesis was. That's
Right,
why those systems were so fucking good. The competition was everything. I remember somebody was saying, "Oh, there's no competition between Sony and Microsoft." I'm like, why the fuck not?
right.
That's what's gonna make it their game.
There should be. God, look, remember Sega and Nintendo in the 90s? The competition was insane. Uh,
Yeah,
and it was brutal. The marketing campaigns were brutal. Remember, Genesis does what
yeah, it
Nintendo
was fun.
don't. You know, like it
Yeah, it was
was.
funny to watch and shit. Because with social media now, they could go on. They could have a YouTube video talking about like, "Hey y'all, those y'all on Sony, y'all missing out with this game here. This is
Right.
only on 360, only on Microsoft. It's
Yep.
called blah blah blah. You can do this. So get you a 360 system so you can play this awesome game. Sony does not have this. Goodbye. It's that
Exactly.
simple. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? Like,
I
why
don't
not
get
do a
it.
competition?
Well, and I think that they do it because it's easier for them to just maintain the status quo, right? They don't have to be creative. That's the thing. Like back in
Right.
the 90s, marketing was creative. You know, the way that the companies
Yeah.
would attack each other, the subtle jabs they'd make at each other, some of them not so subtle. But, you know, it was like, it was just a more exciting time. Like, people weren't just, you know, the thing is now, Chrome, everybody's afraid of their own goddamn shadow. That's what it is now. Like everybody's so afraid. Oh goodness, what if I offend someone? Oh no, what if they think this because I said that? Blah blah blah. And you know what that does? The only thing that actually does is destroy creativity. That's all it does. That's all you actually accomplish by trying to edit yourself or censor yourself or the things that you're doing. All you are doing is stifling the creative process on some level for the sake of hopefully not offending someone somewhere, perhaps. You know, you don't even know what's going to happen, but that's what these companies are. They're so afraid of offending anyone, even if it's people that aren't even their customers. That's the other thing that blows my mind
Mhm.
about the modern gaming culture. It's like, why are gaming companies so obsessed with not offending people who don't even fucking play games? Like, what?
Right.
Why do they
Right.
give a shit? You know, like that's the
They
part I just don't understand at all. You know, like does that make any
I don't
sense to
get it.
you?
No, it don't. It don't make no sense. They listen to these people. Oh, it's too much this. It's too much that. Okay, we're gonna tone it down
Yeah.
and piss off our actual consumers that play our games.
God. I remember.
It's ridiculous.
Do you remember when Final Fantasy VII came out in the '90s, and Barrett and Sid and a bunch of the characters, like every time they talked, it would be like X'd out. You know, there'd be like you could tell they were saying like fuck and shit and like all these, you know, like but they would like exit like sort of censor it out, and it was hilarious to me as a kid. I thought that was just funny, you know, and I knew they were doing it. They were doing it so they could get the teen rating. I know that's why they did it, you know, but it we knew what they were saying. You know, like it was implied. Like that sort of censorship was it was so on the nose it was hilarious, right? It was actually funny the
Yeah,
way they did it. Like
yeah.
I thought it was funny. I liked it. And um
I like the way
nowadays,
Borderlands do it.
oh yeah,
Uh,
Borderlands does it
uh,
good
Bor-
too.
in particular, I'm thinking of Borderlands, a pre-sequel.
Yep.
It's this one mission with this little girl, and she curses, but it beeps it out, but it's so fucking funny. She's like, fuck. It goes, it was fucking hilarious. I laughed so fucking hard. When
Right.
I'm like, if you're gonna censor some bad words in the game or that you can't say, make it funny, make it comical at least.
Right.
You know, be
Yes.
creative about the censorship. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or it's better to have her saying freak, or funk, or F, that
Right.
sound fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Have her say the actual word, just bleep the shit out. That's funny at least.
Yeah.
Because
Be
you can
cre-
hear us,
be
you
creative
know.
about it. Be creative about it. You know, and yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely makes it more interesting than just outright censorship. I think this is why Final Fantasy
Yeah.
VII was better because you saw the word bleeped out. You know, you saw the text where it's like
Yeah.
random characters,
Yeah.
and you could see how Barrett was
Yeah.
getting all mad. Like they'd animate him
Yeah.
when he was saying the things, and it looked so funny, you know.
Yeah, I
And
remember seeing that. They don't
and
do that no more. The Final Fantasy after that,
no,
they should do that some more, man.
they should bring that back because that was really fun. They didn't even do that in eight. Eight was all like cleaned up, as I recall. There was very little swearing or implications of swearing in eight, as I remember. It was such a different game, different vibe from seven.
I can't pinpoint the game, but I remember playing this one game, but it was really creative with the censorship. There's like holy and it would just jump to another scene. I was fucking dying. Commit, like we were talking about before, be creative about it. You could make censorship funny, man.
Oh
You
yeah.
can. At least make it
Well,
like
and you can lampoon it at the same time. Like there was a Family Guy episode many years ago now, where I guess they were probably I think actually in real life the studio is running into a lot of issues with censorship, right, from the FCC. So they had a whole episode where Peter gets his own TV station, you know, or he's like doing public access stuff, and he's got to do all the programming for it. So him and all his buddies, like they all have different shows, and they're all like lewd humor, and you know, one of them's dealing with like pornography, and you know, it's all this stuff. And the FCC gets involved and like shuts them down, basically. Like they can't do any of the stuff they want to do. They're constantly editing everything, and it just takes away from the jokes and all this stuff. And so they do this whole musical number around censorship and how annoying the FCC is, and they lampoon the hell out of them while being censored, like by the FCC in real life. It was so hilarious. I loved it.
yeah. I think it was one censor. It was in the Lion King. This is from Disney for crying out loud. The Lion King, the way
Mm.
they did it was two scenes where they did it twice, but the censorship was fucking funny. One when they was singing the song Kuna Matata, and Puma was like, every time that Timon stops, he says, not in front of the kid. That shit was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
He was gonna say something that but he's probably say every time I take a shit, but he's like, oh wait, not in front of the kid. That was
Right.
fucking hilarious. And then another one when Nala came back, she was looking for food for her village
Yeah.
before her and Simba reunited. When they was running from her, and Puma got stuck in this branch, and Timon was trying to push him out. He was like, "Why is every time I gotta move your ass?" He was about to say ass, but instead he said because the lioness was getting closer.
Yeah.
That's some funny shit.
Oh, that's funny.
Disney
Wow.
don't do that no more, man. They just don't do it no more.
Right. Oh my God.
Kids ain't gonna catch it. They're not gonna catch it, but
Right.
adults will laugh their ass off because we'll catch it.
Oh, totally. We totally do. Um.
PC and shit. It's like
Uh.
why they gotta fuck with them,
Say that
man? It's
again. You,
like
you broke up.
they changed the dialogue in Chrono Cross to make it sound more PC and shit.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
What did they change? Do you know exactly?
I don't remember. I remember it pissed me off.
You know, they did the same thing with Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door.
Yeah,
Did you hear about that?
yeah, yeah. That type of shit. That's what they did with the re-release of Chrono Cross.
Yeah.
I really want to get it, man, because I enjoyed the fuck out of that game, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I just don't fucking. I just hate when they do that shit.
Yeah, I don't like supporting censorship like that. I don't like rewarding the company.
Right.
Like I like that's one I'll pick it up for like 10, 20 bucks second hand. Like I wouldn't mind doing that like on eBay, but I'm not gonna give Nintendo money for that directly because I don't want
Yeah,
to
I heard
support
that.
it.
So if you get it digitally, you giving them your money directly.
Well, yeah, that'd be the issue with digital, right? But you know, it's not so bad if it's like if you could get a decent sale. But you know, we're coming back to remember how I said earlier today. Every one of the major companies pisses me off in some way. For
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo, it's because you can never get a decent sale on first party properties from Nintendo, like ever. You know, good luck trying to get a digital sale on a Mario game for less than $30, even if it's something that's
Oh
like
shit.
10, 20 years old. You know,
Shit.
that's what it seems like to me anyway. Like all of their and the physicals too. Like if it's a Mario Zelda game, like you're not going to get that for less than 20 bucks. Usually less than 30. 30 is like where they absolutely bottom out. I got the new Mario Kart game, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch last year for like 30 bucks in a sale at Target, and that's the cheapest I've ever seen it. I I snagged it because I knew I wasn't gonna find it for any less than that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy, man, for like a game that old. It's not even a new game. It's just a re-release from the Wii U. You know, like but it's never cheaper than that. And I get it. I'm not saying they aren't good games. Like the games are great. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a great game. I'll be the first to admit it. But it's just I don't like that Nintendo gatekeeps all of their IPs so hardcore and if essentially artificially inflates prices. You know, because Sony and Microsoft don't do that. They do, but not nearly to the same extent, right? Like when I bought Halo 5, or not Halo 5, but Gears 5, Gears of War 5, I got that thing
Mm-hmm.
for, I want to say $5, brand new, like a year or two after it came out. It really wasn't that long after it came out. I got it for Xbox One physical from Best Buy for like $5. And that game is so good. It's so awesome. It's a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
game. It's super fun, and it's a first party title. That never
Mm-hmm.
happens with Nintendo games. Never in my experience. I've never gotten a Nintendo game for like $5 that was a first party title new. That
Shit.
it just doesn't happen.
Mm.
Doesn't matter how old it is. Uh, but
Yeah, they fuck
yeah,
really expensive.
really expensive, right? Now, I will
Yeah,
give them
yeah.
this: the Switch is an amazing piece of hardware, right? The amount
Mm-hmm.
of games you can play on the Switch is insane. If you look at the library
Mm-hmm.
that it has, not just first
Mm-hmm.
party stuff, but if you get like on the Switch store and you look at the digital library of indie games and third party titles, it's
Mm-hmm.
insane how big that library is. It's pretty great, especially if you like the older games and if you like stuff like PS3 era stuff. There's a ton of the PS3 era games that made their way onto the Switch that
Oh shit.
is pretty great in my opinion because we didn't get that so much with the PS4 and PS5. I mean, we got it
Yeah.
some, but not to the level the Switch got it. That's for sure. If you actually
Yeah, they
start
got
looking at the
Bayonetta.
library.
Man, I want to play Bayonetta 2, man. That's so fucking mad when I found I want to come out on PS3.
Oh yeah,
This
right.
motherfucker pissed off, man.
I thought that was such bullshit that Bayonetta 2 was
It
only on the
was.
Switch.
Yeah. Cause that didn't fucking make me feel better. To my they got it's a copyright thing. The first person that had it gave up the rights, and Switch took it. I was like, why just them? Why all these? Oh, why couldn't any of these other companies take it, man? What the fuck?
And why wouldn't they have fought over it? Because Bayonetta was such a popular
Yeah,
game, the first one.
yeah,
I'd have thought that that would have just been a dogfight, if the rights were up for sale.
right. You think, oh, I want that? I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it. They be trying to fucking man buy it for the highest. It'd be like they put that shit on bid,
Yeah, you'd think that
man.
would have just been an absolute bidding war between the three of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Yeah, we should be recording this, man.
Oh, I am recording. I already started.
Oh shit!
We are recording,
You didn't,
son.
you didn't, you didn't tell me. I didn't think we were recording. You didn't tell
I
me,
told
man.
you before when we start these calls, I'm just gonna start recording. We'll get into it.
No, I like the 3, 2, 1, man. I like 3, 2, 1.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean,
I'll try to remember that
gotta get,
next time.
yeah, you just. I'm glad I wasn't talking about. I'm glad I wasn't talking shit about Ty Lord or Retro Ryan, man. Because I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know you was recording, man.
uh,
No, go back to the 3, 2, 1, man.
okay. I don't know. I feel like this is where we get the really good stuff, though. Chrome is when you don't know that we're recording. That's when the funniest stuff happens. I feel
Oh
like
shit, I want to
you
know,
know,
goddamn
like.
it. Cause I was like, wait a minute, because you said you would set up the OBS. I'm like, okay, we just talking
Right.
while it's setting up. Because I could have said something really bad that I ain't want nobody to hear that's possibly listening.
That's
Like,
true.
I'm gonna tell you, I gotta tell you something about Tyler, man, when I can't stand about him, Like, what's the line, man? I don't like the blah blah blah. Oh wait, by the way, we ready to record? Yeah. Oh, we're already recording. You fucking tell me. I love you guys. Don't get it twisted.
So, see, I knew you
I'm
had
just making an
nothing. I knew
example.
you didn't have beef with anybody, so,
No,
what's the big I
no
knew you
beef.
weren't going to say anything like that anyway.
But I hate beef, man.
Yeah, I do too. You and me, I feel like we're just above all that stuff. We're not above it, but we like sidestep it, I feel like, and stuff like that happens in every group, every community and stuff, but I just don't have any interest or patience for it myself. It's like it's so unnecessary.
I mean, it's fucking stupid.
I mean, we're like a gaming community too. It's like just talk about games. Like it's fine. Don't fanboy or fangirl too hard and you'll be okay. Like don't
Yeah,
like
being a fanboy is dangerous, man.
it is
Fangirl.
nowadays. Damn, that's for sure. Yeah, that's the other thing I was gonna mention when we were talking about the older stuff. You remember back in the day, it just wasn't as I feel like it just wasn't as big of a deal. It was like more of a funny thing. It was like if you were a PlayStation or a Nintendo fanboy or fangirl or whatever, it was more of just a quirky personality thing. It wasn't this really divisive,
A
angry
cult,
sort
a
of
fucking cult now.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me now, and I think it's really unfortunate because it used to just be fun. It used to just be like, oh yeah, I really love this console or this company because of these reasons, and now it just feels like so forced or like if you like something it's like you really have to defend it super hard or whatever. And believe me, I know I'm guilty of this too. I shit on certain things, right? Like I know I've shit on Fortnite on this show before, and but you know, fuck my opinion. You know, if you like Fortnite, fucking play Fortnite. I don't care. You know, do your thing. I'm not gonna play it, but you can.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you don't have to not play it or not like it just because I don't. I don't expect anybody to do that.
Yeah, I follow somebody on YouTube that loves Fortnite, and I know somebody else that loves Fortnite. So
A lot of people love Fortnite. I get it. You know, I understand. I'm in the minority of being a person who doesn't like Fortnite. I get it. It's fine. But
I
uh,
get why people like it, though. I do get
yeah,
it because
no, I get it.
somebody actually streamed it while they was running their mouth about something else and type, but it was happened to be playing Fortnite in the background.
Hmm.
It's got a lot of shit in that game, man. A lot of fucking skins, a lot of modes you could fuck around with.
Right.
I see how y'all like this shit, man. Didn't make me want to get involved, but I can at least understand it,
And you know, I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I play Dead by Daylight, and it has microtransactions, and you know, I
Yeah.
get it. You know, so it's not like I'm like so like, oh, I'll never play a game with microtransactions or no, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I don't spend a lot of money on those games. I will say that. Like I can play those games. I don't buy a ton of skins and stuff. I might get the ones I really like, but you know, they're not going to get my money just because they're constantly throwing up new skins, right? It's got to be something really fucking good for me to spend my money on it.
Yeah, I heard that.
I mean, you
But
were
they
talking
make it.
about that, weren't you talking about that with Rumble Roses even? You were like you weren't going to get all the DLC.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know. I said it. I DM'd you about it. I was like, when you switch to at least on the 360 version, when you switch to the DLC skin, of fucking game freezes temporary.
Mm,
It will
mm-hmm.
definitely unfreeze, but I thought it was frozen like until I restarted the fucker.
Wow.
But I waited long enough for it to unfreeze. And I just don't fucking like that shit. I was like, why does it do that?
How long did that take to unfreeze?
It took a good minute, man.
A whole minute?
A good minute,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, it's like it's ridiculous.
That's pretty bad also because you're wondering like is it overheating? Is something
Yeah,
like that's what I'd be
yeah.
worried about if my system froze like that. I'd be a little paranoid.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Mhm.
But it might not do it for you though, because you have the series.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I don't
I
know.
mean, it might, like I said, it might not do it for you though.
Right. Well, this is the other
Like,
thing I meant to ask
it-
you because you got the Xbox 360. Uh, have you ever redone the thermals on it, or have you ever taken apart, cleaned it out at all, or
no,
okay?
nope.
Any of the
The last system I tried to take apart,
mhm.
the last system I tried to take apart, I just couldn't do it. It was a
Oh,
P. It
really?
was my PS4 died, and I tried to take it apart and get rid of the dust out of it.
Mhm.
But it's got even more screws than a fucking PS3. This like they purposely tried to make sure you won't
Mhm.
be able to take it apart.
Mhm.
But people have to take it apart. I don't got the patience, man. It's like
Right.
well, PS3. I took a PS3 apart before, and that was like grueling to me.
Oh
But
yeah. Did you do the fat one, the original?
no, it was a slim.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing a slim right now, and it's still pretty involved, but I think it's going to be worth it
PS4 is a
because
bit.
it's just such a good system and you know, I want to make sure that it runs for a while. And, you know, I'm going to try. I've had such a bad history with PS3s dying on me. I really want to see if I can get one that just won't die, that I can, if I maintain it well.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a custom build too. Like I'm going to cut out a hole in the top of it so that the fan can breathe better, get totally cool air circulating
Oh,
in it.
okay.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do some case mods as well to hopefully improve its
Yeah,
performance, keep it cooler. Yeah, because it's such a good system, man. Like
yeah, I love PS3. Yeah.
I love the PS3 so much. And that was the main weakness for it was that it would just they tended to overheat. And if it wasn't for that, I'd argue it may be the best system ever made. The originals that were backwards
Mhm.
compatible. You know, I mean, having 3 generations of PlayStation games basically fully supported. I know it wasn't everything, but it was most everything. You know, that was incredible. And playing Blu-rays and DVDs and CDs, all the stuff you could do
Oh
there.
yeah.
You could watch digital media with it. You could watch Netflix on it. You know, it had apps. Like, the system was just incredible when it came out.
And then you cross over to the PS4. You need to you have to download a goddamn patch to watch movies
Right.
on your.
Yeah,
I
get
was
the
like, what?
app. I was like, that is the
Like,
dumbest shit I've ever seen. I couldn't believe Sony did that shit.
what a step back. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
It's like, and also it's like so counterproductive too, because a lot of people who watch DVDs or Blu-rays, they didn't have good internet. You know, I still don't have good internet. That's one reason why I still like physical media, because I like being able to watch a Blu-ray and get that HD experience, because I don't have internet that's fast enough for consistent HD content. So to me, like, a Blu-ray has a lot of value still.
Hmm.
And that's a totally different part of my life too. Like, I collect movies, and so it's been a great time to collect DVDs and Blu-rays, because you can go to thrift stores and usually get them for $1. You know, like, good movies that people are just getting rid of because they're just going 100% into streaming. And I don't even
Hmm.
want to do that in general. I wouldn't do that even if I had good internet, just because all these streaming services are just going to get more expensive and they're adding ads to them. So it's basically like cable used to be. I feel like they're going to ruin it. You know, it used to be awesome when it was just Netflix and Netflix had everything. That was the best time to be streaming. Now they're splitting up all these libraries everywhere. You can only watch one movie from a series, or two if you're lucky. Then you got to get another service to watch the rest of them, and they've got all these fucking ads now. It just sucks, man.
Yeah, ads fucking suck ass, man.
I don't have patience for that. Life is too short for ads in on TV. Like, I'm sorry, but especially nowadays. At least when we were kids, advertising was cool. You know, like we were talking about
Talk,
Sony, or we were talking about Sega and
yeah.
Nintendo's ads. Like, they were great, and they were edgy and fun. And nowadays, everybody in marketing is just a big pussy. Sorry, Ryan. I know marketing's your thing, but it's true. I mean, and if you disagree, post below, man. Just to tell me
Yeah,
I'm wrong.
it's okay. We'll still
Uh,
love you.
because I really don't think that I am. I mean, I think everybody in marketing these days is a bitch, basically, because they don't try anything. There's nothing creative going on. Everybody's so afraid to do anything that can even be remotely perceived as edgy. They won't do it. So everything is super bland and boring as a result of it. So why would I want to watch that crap? Why would I want to pay to watch that crap? That's the other thing. You got to pay for all this shit, and then you got to watch these stupid ads about stuff you don't even want to buy.
Hmm. I swear to God, because we talked about before about YouTube possibly doing what fucking Twitch's stupid ass is doing, putting ads on fucking live streams. Man,
Right?
I really I think I'm done, man. Once they start that shit, I think I'm done, fucking done.
Mm-hmm.
It breaks my heart, man, to think that's gonna just ruin me, and I ain't going to stream anymore.
Yeah, I hate
It's
that.
crazy.
That's
Yeah,
that would really. I know I haven't been streaming yet. I'd always thought, like,
yeah,
if I got better internet options out here and I could get a better connection, like, I'd love to stream. But if that's what it's gonna be, forced ads in the middle of my streams,
yeah.
I'm gonna be really pissed. Like, I don't think I'll even do it at all if that's what they
I don't.
start doing, because
I just,
that is bullshit.
I can't see myself wanting to stream, knowing I'm gonna
No.
have people gonna be seeing fucking ads and
Mm-mm.
shit. It's like, what the fuck, man?
It's like, what's the point of being live? You might as well just do a pre-recorded video at that
Because I
point.
was in
Like, what?
somebody, like I said before, I was in somebody's chat, and they said the person wanted somebody said they saw somebody they was watching a stream on YouTube, and they had ads in the middle of the stream, and they were
Mm,
small channel. I was like, how fucking small? Because I don't have any.
Mm-hmm.
So what the fuck, man? I
No,
mean,
it's
it just pisses me off to even talk about this.
right.
It really fucking irks me, man.
It is absolute bullshit. I don't
I
know.
can't believe
Was
you
this on
two,
your
man.
list of things to talk about? Because I know that this one really pisses us both off.
We talked about it the last show, I think.
Did we?
We talked about it. Yeah, it was one of the things that I had.
Mm-hmm.
But not we talked about it already. So I believe we did. We talked about the last show. Because we was
Okay.
talking about how you was talking about you. I remember you was saying like you were done, man. You don't want that shit to happen.
No. No, I can't. I mean, because it kills the point of being live, right? Like from my
It
perspective,
does.
why be just record yourself playing the game then? It's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah, you might as well just do that then.
Yeah. And
Because
if
you
you
could
do a
do it
pre-recording,
ten.
you could script it. You could talk about whatever you want to do. I mean, you can do that live too. I know, but it's like you could actually
I'd
edit it
rather be
more.
live, man.
Yeah.
I'd rather be live, man. It's like it's something about being live, man.
Mm-hmm. No, it's got to be fun. I'm sure it's fun. I don't mean that. I just mean, if they're gonna
I mean,
just throw up
I used to
ads
do that already.
randomly,
Record myself.
what if they just
Yeah,
throw up the ad in the middle of a joke? That's the part that would piss me off. Like if I'm in the middle of something and I really
yeah,
want people to
yeah.
hear the whole
It's
thing that I'm saying,
right. Yeah, it's
like
gonna interrupt.
it's gonna screw up everything doing that.
Or if I'm in the heat of a battle and people are trying to see me beat this boss, ad fucking pops up.
Plus,
That's gonna ruin.
I,
People ain't gonna want to be there. They don't want to see no stream like that.
right? I don't have tits, so I have to be funny, right? That's the only way people are
Yeah,
gonna watch my shit. So, like,
right.
it's different, I guess. If I had tits, it wouldn't be such a big deal. But I feel like we got to be fucking funny. That's the only way we're gonna get people to watch what we're doing. you know?
Hmm. Yeah, that'll be the end of me, man.
Yeah.
The ads. I just can't. I'm just thinking about it. It's like I don't. I honestly ain't gonna want to stream no more.
Yeah. That's really sad
I
because
hate to
I
fucking
know how
say this
much you
shit,
like
man.
it. I know it's a big part
I
of your
love it,
life.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done that already. I could go resort back to recording, but why? I did that already.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do that already. I don't want to go back to doing that.
Yep. That's crazy.
It's like, damn, just like you said, you could be in the middle of telling the joke, ad pop up,
Mm-hmm.
and or you could be fighting this boss, and an ad will pop up.
Right?
Cause I heard on Twitch you can get three of them motherfuckers in a row,
Wow.
and I don't know if that's skippable or not though. But one person say, "Oh, I just saw three ads," and then the streamer was like, "Well, if you pay $10 a month, you can bypass the ads." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here,
To
man! How
get
can you
what?
be
To
a
get
streamer?"
you're talking about like getting YouTube Premium or this is Twitch you're talking about.
I don't know. I don't know what the $10 go to, but this whether it goes to the streamer or not, that's fucked up, man.
Oh yeah. Well, this is why I have premium on YouTube because I use it so much. If I didn't have
Uh
premium,
huh.
I'd be watching ads all day and it would just totally suck. Like there's too much. Now you can use an ad
Yeah.
blocker. Certain ad blockers will help or at least block some of them, but I just
Well,
like
you
not having to
can.
deal with it because I watch YouTube on TV too. Like I'll put YouTube up on my TV and
Yeah.
so I really don't want to see any fucking ads when I'm watching YouTube.
Yeah. I hear you.
I use it way more than any other streaming service. Like it's not even close. I use
Yeah.
YouTube for
I'm on
so much
YouTube every
stuff.
day, man.
Yeah,
I'm on YouTube every fucking day.
I am too. And I use it for all kinds of stuff too. It's not just entertainment. I'll use it for DIY stuff, how to learn things. I can't tell you. I've watched at least 5 PS3 teardown videos just for this PS3 project I'm doing.
I can tell you, as somebody who doesn't have YouTube Premium, yeah, I run across ads, but not to the point where it's fucking annoying.
Well,
Because
that's good.
sometimes I'll watch a video, no ads will come up at all.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've been to many videos where there's no ads.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
that's good
some
then.
of them, the ones that do have ads, they're not overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Do you
at
do
least
you
at least to me, they're not.
mostly do you mostly watch YouTube on your phone, or do you use your TV as
Yeah,
well?
phone,
The phone.
my
Yeah.
phone. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then most of them are skippable anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them,
Well, that's good.
you can skip them with it after 5 seconds. You could skip them.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm like got my hands tied, that's when it's like, oh my god. But that's rare. I usually don't have my hands tied. I'm watching YouTube, at least to the point where I can't reach for my phone and stop the ad.
Right. But I'll bet when you do, it's like you feel like you're suffocating, right? Having to listen to some bullshit ad.
Yeah, especially if it's long, man. Like if I'm
Oh
in the
God.
shower, oh my fucking god, I be praying a lot of ads because some of these ads are like I ran across a 30-minute ad. I was like, that's a whole fucking video.
Right? That's insane.
Yeah,
I've never
30
seen one
fucking
like
minutes.
that. That's crazy.
Oh, you can skip it, Chrome. But that's besides the point, motherfucker.
Right?
Why is there ads that are 30 minutes long?
I shouldn't have to fucking skip it. That's insane. Like that shouldn't even exist.
Right, that's besides the point that I can skip it. I'm glad I can. But 30 minutes? Who gonna watch a 30-minute ad? And then this ad was based on a children's program. It was a whole episode of a fucking children's show that I
Wow.
never heard of.
That had nothing to do with you.
Nothing whatsoever.
That is terrible. I don't understand why these companies, I guess enough people just take it and don't care. That must be what it is. That's why they're adding ads back into all these streaming services and stuff. Like not enough people are just going to cancel the service like I will.
Keep taking like
I'm not going to renew services because of the fucking ads. I got Paramount Plus. I've had that for most of a year. My year subscription's gonna run out, I think, in September or October. I'm not renewing that shit. Because I don't want to watch the fucking ads at the beginning of the videos.
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, I hate the ones that happens as soon as you click on the video, it's an ad first.
Yep.
I'm like, damn.
It's like no, this was like a part of the past that we don't need to bring back. Like we used to have ads on so much shit when I was a kid. I don't miss it. And the ads were actually decent. They didn't suck like they do now. But I still didn't want to have to watch a ton of them. I just wanted to watch what I wanted to watch. Again, life is short. Advertising is an insult to the fact that we are mortals, in my opinion. Because it just wastes our fucking time. That is limited.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
sorry to anybody out there who works in marketing or advertising, but it's true. It's that I'm not lying. This is legitimately what I think of your profession at this point. It's bullshit.
You gotta let it out, man. It's the truth. You gotta let the
Yep.
truth out. Gotta say what we feel.
And if any of you were even slightly creative, I might not feel that way, but you're not, and you know it. Like, not anymore. So, but
Yeah, I was
anyway.
just reading my YouTube recap. I was just reading my YouTube recap, and no surprise, it says most people that viewed your stuff are new to your channel for the first time, but they don't stick around. So why would I give a shit?
Mm-hmm.
I
This
mean, the returning viewers are like 10%. I was like 10%. That's low as fuck, man. What the fuck am I doing?
That's Tylord. That's Tylord clicking on every video 10 times. That's what that number
Yeah,
is.
Tyler, 10%. Thank you, Tyler.
Thanks, Tylord.
You the 10%. Thank you to 10%.
You're a real one, dude.
And those watching these shows.
Yep. Tyler's at the gym hanging on every word we say.
Yeah, so So fuck Microsoft. I'm not buying a gift card to purchase off 360. Fuck you. If I
Right.
have to buy one, and let's move on to the next one.
All right.
Uh,
What do we got next?
all right. This was a sobering one. A more serious one.
Mm-hmm.
So you can push aside the tissue because unless you're gonna cry with me,
Mm.
because you won't be crying laughing with this one.
Okay.
Uh, not all children grow up with great parents. I know not all parents are fucking perfect. We don't expect perfection out of parents either.
Sure.
But some kids grow up under parents who are fucking like, let's say in this instance, crack addicts.
Mm-hmm.
Because not just one parent is under it, but two of them are.
Mm.
And me, I had that experience,
Mm-hmm.
But and what brought this topic about was I remember when my grandmother used to tell me when I was a kid that she used to tell me that the reason why my mother, who was her daughter, got on crack was because it was my father's fault.
Mm.
I mean, I couldn't argue with it. I ain't hear the other side. I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if it's true, whatever. I don't give a shit. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? What does it got to do with me? You
Right.
want me to hate my father because he got my mother on crack? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But however, my mom told me quite a different story.
Hmm.
Okay. Counter with what my grandmother told me. She says my father was not to blame how she got addicted to it.
Mm.
Okay. She said it was her choice alone.
Really?
Why did she do it? Simple. She wanted to try it.
Mm-hmm.
And she got addicted.
Mm.
So I was like, holy shit. I just felt it interesting. I tend to believe my mom because of my grandma because my mother was there.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandmother was not there.
You don't think she'd just be trying to protect your dad?
No, I believe my mom. I just believe my mom over my grandmother. 'Cause my grandmother never liked my dad
Mm-hmm.
ever.
Well, I
I
think
mean,
that's another big thing too, right? Because so typically, like I feel like the mom will blame the dad for stuff that didn't happen, and so that does make me more
I
suspicious
mean,
of
they
like
wasn't.
maybe she's correct or like maybe she's telling the truth because she's not
No,
just trying
I
to throw
feel
him
she
under the
told the
bus,
truth.
you know?
No, they. I mean, she when she told me this, they wasn't even together anymore.
Mm,
I
mm-hmm,
mean, he got physically abusive, but it wasn't to the point it was like all the time. It was like sometimes.
mm,
She had reason to say, fuck this guy. I'm just gonna tell like it is. He got me on this shit. You
mm-hmm.
know, she had reason, man. So they was separate when she told me this.
Okay.
And I do believe her because like I said, my grandmother never liked my dad. And whenever she mentioned him, she had a snark on her face, like,
Mm,
yeah, your damn daddy, you
right.
know. And
Yeah.
then he didn't like her in turn. He used to call her a witch all the fucking time and shit. You know?
That's like such a cliche, right? The mother-in-law that
Yeah.
hates the son-in-law and like vice versa.
Right. I mean, I get it. I can understand for a certain extent why she didn't like him because he was unlike my mom. He wasn't a straight A student.
Mm,
He didn't graduate. He didn't go through all the grades through high school. He didn't graduate high school like my mom did. He dropped out of school.
mm-hmm,
So he ended up with this guy, and she's a good. And this girl, who was my mom, grew up to be straight A student. Went through high school. He didn't do it. So yeah, I can see why a parent wouldn't like that boy.
right.
Because it's funny because my mom must have like, because my mom didn't, she wasn't too fond of her own mother either.
Mm-hmm,
I don't know if it was a rebellion thing or not, but she told me stories about my grandmother that really, the reason why she doesn't like her too much, but I don't really want to go there, but but I'll tell you this though, my dad lived way out south and my mother met him through a party. It was a party. That's when they met. And she was raised since I told you before. My mother was raised on the north side,
mm-hmm.
so she would go all the way to the south side, take the train to go see my dad. It's like wow,
Wow. Was a long
And
trip,
she was,
I'm assuming.
yeah, it was in a short trip from north to south where he stayed at. So she was happy to get away from my own mother. You know what I'm saying? My mom is about what, 18, 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know exactly how old she was when she met my mom when she met my dad, but I know she had me when she was 19.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she met him because I was born in January, so she knew him when she was 18. So she was at least 18 years old when she met him.
Okay.
And so yeah, I mean, I tend to believe her story how she got on it. You know what I'm saying? It was her
Sure.
choice alone. He didn't push her to do it. You know,
Right.
it was peer. It was basically peer pressure that was involved in that. I
Mm.
mean, but you would have thought that you would think that I would hate both of my parents with growing up. You know, with them getting high because they wasn't always high for once. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was like sometimes they would usually get high on check day. You know how it is.
Yeah.
They wait. They couldn't wait for the mailman to drop the check so they could spend it on drugs and they would gamble all their fucking money up and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, despite growing up with crack addict the parents, I never went to bed hungry. Like I went to bed hungry only one occasion.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that because my mother wasn't home. So that was like one occasion. In general, no, I never went to bed hungry. She always fed us and everything, made sure we ate, even if she had to give me and my brother money to go to a restaurant and get us something to eat
Mm-hmm.
because she was too high to cook. At
Mm-hmm.
least she still cared. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm sure a lot of parents didn't, or
Yeah,
they weren't
yeah. You could
coherent
have,
enough to do that,
right, right.
doing
So
those
I'm
drugs.
not throwing. Yeah, I'm not going to throw my parents under the bus because
Mm-hmm.
doing that would be disingenuous. That would be mean for
Mm-hmm.
me to do that. It was only hard when she wasn't home.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it was like hard, and my grandma used to have to come there. Where's your mother at? I'm like, we don't know. She hasn't been home for hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time when it was hard. And one particular time was me and my brother was kids at this time. I think it was about 12, and my brother was like 6 or 5,
Yeah.
and she left and we was in the house all day. So she left like in the morning time. We was in the house all day, so we had to cook for ourselves, and then went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
We was going. I was like, where's she at? Where is she coming back home? You know what I'm saying? So I went to sleep, and I woke up, and I was like, okay, well, this is day 2, so I hope she'll come home. I got a knock on the door, and it was the police. Okay, so come to find out, my neighbor, I can't. It was so long ago. I think my brother told the neighbor that our mom wasn't home, and our neighbor got concerned. So
Mm.
she called the police, and while the police was there, my mother finally came back home, and it was like, well, we were told that you left your kids home alone all day yesterday. You just not coming back. She claimed my mother. Sadly, I cannot confirm this because I was asleep. She claimed that she did come and check on us when we were asleep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But you
I
don't
don't know.
know.
I was asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was asleep. So it could be a lie. It could be the truth. I don't know. I can't confirm it.
Mm-hmm.
However, they still arrested her. We all went to the police station. I remember the police officer told her, I said, look, and she was like, my mother was like, oh, I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? Can we
Mm-hmm.
get this over with these questions? And the new dude was like, he said, oh, there's plenty of bread and water in jail.
Mm.
He told
Wow.
her that. I was like, whoa. I remember like I was a kid. I remember like it was yesterday. I was like, wait a minute, you gonna take my mom away from me?
Yeah. This is crazy to do this, I feel like, with the kids there. Like that's
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I mean, he was. I know. I remember he was upset. What I don't know what they was talking about, but I remember him saying that to her. He's like, "What you mean you want to rush this? You could eat plenty when you locked up." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
doing this, but suffice it to say, she never did that again.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever she did leave, she came back that day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I guess the cops scared her enough. She didn't
yeah, I
do it
guess
again,
so.
right? So
Right.
maybe that's good. Maybe it was good that she had that experience 'cause she kept it together enough, at least to not leave you overnight.
Right. But the there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Both my parents are now clean. They don't do crack anymore. My
Really?
mother stopped by herself,
Wow.
and my father stopped through going through meetings and shit like that,
Mm-hmm.
double A meetings and all
Mm-hmm.
that. And so both my parents are like they don't do it anymore. I'm happy to say that. So
That's great. Very and statistically unlikely, right? Um,
yeah.
that's kind of a miracle they both got off of it, I'd say.
Hmm. Yeah, considering that, I think it was harder for my dad to get off of it. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom, because my dad grew up with crack addict parents, and they both died of the shit.
Wow.
And despite that, he ended up doing it too. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. Yeah.
So yeah, because my dad was mainly raised by his grandmother, and his parents died when he was a baby. You know, I know he has two older siblings, a brother and a sister, two older siblings.
Mm-hmm.
But when they passed, he was still a baby. He was like a baby.
Wow.
So so his grandmother took up the mantle. She raised him and his two older siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was like, wow.
Well, it's a common thing that happens, right? If the something goes wrong with the parents, the grandparents end up kind of being taking over that role a lot of the time.
Yeah, yeah. That's what my grandmother did when my mother got evicted when I was like 20. I was about 20 years old at this time. She got evicted, and my grandmother ended up taking me and my brother in
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't know where my mother was at for months, man.
Really? Wow.
And she finally contacted our grandmother, and we was happy to hear. It was like, oh, she was like, your mother just called. She told us where she's at and everything. I was like, oh shit, we found her. You know?
Mm-hmm. So she was okay?
Yeah, pretty. Yeah, she was staying with this guy on the south side,
Mm-hmm.
and we all went down there to see her. You know, she was happy to see. But it was like about a year since we heard from her. I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
So I
Yeah.
remember the landlord used to knock on the door like, oh, tell your mother to call me, you know, because little did I know she owed rent. That's why I kept seeing her every
Mm-hmm.
month, knocking on the door.
Right.
So eventually she got evicted.
God.
Because I remember we went back to the apartment. We saw it was snowing outside. We saw all of our shit in the snow, just
Wow.
dumped there. And we got whatever we could that before somebody stole it and took
Mm-hmm.
it back to to the our new house with my grandmother, you know.
Jeez. That's
And
crazy.
my grandma was a lot of shit. Though. I couldn't stand her sometimes. You know what I'm saying? We had fights, but I
Mm-hmm.
still loved her at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Sure.
because now that she's gone, when I go grocery shopping, I think of her because I
Mm-hmm.
remember she taught me. This one thing she taught me. She was like, whenever you go grocery shopping, never grab the item if it's in the freezer, if it's in the refrigerator section.
Mm-hmm.
Never grab the one in the front because they probably left that shit out. You grab the one in the back. Grab the
Sure.
juice in the back, whatever the fuck it is, in the
Right.
back, always. And
Yep.
to this very day, that's what I do.
I do the same thing. Yep.
Yep, because
I'll
they
I'll
probably
look
left
at the
that shit.
dates sometimes. I'll
Yep,
look at the dates and
yep.
find
I look
whatever
at dates too.
the last one is,
Yep,
because I just it's a good way
yep.
to avoid food poisoning.
Yeah, because and speaking of my grandmother, the next topic is about her. From
Okay.
what I learned, from what I know, that I was told,
Mm-hmm.
because I never personally asked her. She never sat me down and explained. her past to me. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I do know enough to share from what my mother told me and other people.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother told me a few things, but I learned from different people her about her past. So from what I know, this is what I pieced together. My grandmother had my mother when she was 15.
Mm.
I
Wow.
thought she was 16 years old, but she was 15. Still a kid, right?
Yep.
And the person who impregnated my mother was in his 30s. My grandmother,
Your
I mean.
grandmother. Yeah.
Your grandmother, his grandmother, I call myself, was
Wow.
in his 30s. And I don't know. I believe she was raped.
Oh,
I
really?
just, I just, I just believe that.
Hmm.
It's like I don't think that she instigated or nothing. I think he came on to her,
Mm.
and maybe it wasn't painful or rough, but he pretty much forced it. It's still rape. You know what I'm saying? It's a
Sure.
minor.
Absolutely.
Because back then that happened more often though, man. They had these
Right.
overgrown ass men impregnating these girls, man. Because she lived in that time. My grandmother was born in like 1945.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think it was like 44, 45 she was born. Something like
Yeah.
that. One of them years. And she was 15. And she also was early developed teen.
Mm-hmm.
So, she had the ample breast, the ass at 15.
Yeah.
So So not only did she have one kid, she had two kids by him.
Oh, wow.
If you think one time that'd be it, but this guy ended up impregnating her twice. I was like, what the fuck was going on?
Yeah.
Where was her mother at? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck was?
Mm-hmm.
How does this man take this girl two times? Because when she got pregnant again, she was more grown. How old is my mother and my uncle? So let me see. She's about 5 years older than him.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's about maybe 5 years. Let's just say for the sake of conversation, she's 5 years older than him.
Okay.
So she had him when she was like 20, 19 or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But she was still young though.
Right.
It's like
Yeah. Very
so.
young.
So anyway, here's an interesting part of my grandmother's story is they was trying to talk her into aborting my mom.
Mm.
They was trying to talk her into it. They'll give up the baby. You still too young.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandma was like, no. She said, God will provide.
Mm.
At 15.
Wow.
Can you imagine a 15-year-old girl saying, no, I don't want to abort the child. God's going to provide for me?
It's a woman with a lot of faith. It's
Yes, a lot of
yeah.
faith. I was like, wow, you actually said that, Grandma? She was like, mm-hmm. I was like, wow. I was like, wow. You actually told, and then they didn't let her keep the child. They was like, no, fuck you. You too young. This is what God provide. I'm provide this abortion for you. They was like, nah, okay, well, you want to keep the baby, and she kept it.
Wow. That's a amazing story.
Yeah. I mean, but me and my sister was talking about this, and she didn't laugh too much. I mean, whenever she did laugh, it was a joy because she rarely laughed,
Mm-hmm.
or smiled.
Sure.
It's like my grandmother had a hard life. She trudged through it though. She ended up having three children. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
Two by the asshole, and one by a guy she actually fell for.
Mm-hmm.
The last child with, uh, which is my auntie.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, because when you have a child a child when you still a child yourself, it's got to be fucking hard, man.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine it. Really. That's an amazing amount of faith she had to say that
Mhm.
to keep your mom and all of that, and I'm glad she did because you wouldn't be here otherwise, and we wouldn't have been friends. So you know.
I know.
God bless her. You know,
Hell
um,
yeah.
and I'm sure I can't imagine how hard it must have been at the time in Chicago, and everything
Mhm.
she undoubtedly had to go through in life coming up when she did.
Yeah, man, this is rough, man. And dude, the father wasn't, as far as from what I know, he wasn't really involved in my mom and her brother's life anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you impregnated this girl not once and twice, and yet you gonna just fucking stay away. I remember my mother found her biological father, but she'd be damned if she was gonna see him. She said.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't gonna lie. I was interested to see what the fuck he looked like.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see him just see what he look like, not to get to know him. I just wanted to just look at him. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, it's one
But
of
my
those
uncle,
things that could be kind of weird too, right? Because in the back of your head, if you didn't know what he looked like, you might run across him in life and not have any idea that's who he was.
mm,
Like you could be on the bus with him, or at a movie or somewhere else, like at
funny.
a restaurant, you would have no idea that's who it was.
Hmm. And she told me his full name. I was like, wow.
Mm,
Then she said her brother didn't want to see him either, and I was like, yeah, that's your prerogative, man. Shit.
yeah.
But if she did want to go, I would have went with her just to see what he looked like.
Right. Can't really blame her.
I can understand. Yeah, I can't blame her that she want to see him. But yeah, now we got that out the way.
Well,
Hope nobody
I
fell asleep at this
no. How could you
point.
fall asleep during that? That was intense. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm always impressed by how frank you are, Chrome, about different things and opening up and sharing things about your life. I appreciate it. I feel like I get to know you really well from this show.
yeah, man. Yeah, thank you. That's what I do, man. I share these things and just because I know that I'm not the only one. It's like people had similar upbringers like me. They say, "Oh, I can relate to that." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this next topic is something I can't relate to, and this entitled speed runs, man. I don't understand people can do that. It's like, how can you have fun
Ah.
with a game? Like, how can you have fun with a game rushing through it, trying to get the fastest time? I just never got it.
I think it's a level of competition that I don't fathom myself either, or just I don't know. Like and nothing against speedrunners, the people that are really into it. I mean, it's a part of the gaming community I don't really understand myself. Like you said, like I, I think I, I think I look at them mostly like it's an interesting subset of the community. It's sort of how I look at it. It's fascinating to me that anyone can be that interested in just one or two games, that they dedicate most of their time to trying to speed run or beat different records and world records on times and find new ways to exploit things in the game, even exploit bugs in the game to improve their times. And to me, that's all very interesting that it happens. However, I have no interest at all in who does it, or like a sport or something. Like I couldn't care less, for instance, who the fastest speedrunner is for whatever
I don't
game. Like
care.
I
I just don't care.
don't even care a little bit. It makes no difference to me at all. I guess there are fans. There are people that are really into it. That's why this stuff exists. But to me, it's like I'd rather talk about a game than like us just talk about a game. Like I'd rather do that than watch somebody try to speed run something. Personally, uh,
I'm watching No Death Run. Those are fun to watch.
hmm yeah, no death run
I
can
was
be
telling
cool. Something like that. That's like
you.
I watch something like that, and not that speed runs don't take skill. They obviously do, but a no death run that's actually smooth and not rushed, but just you can tell like how good they are. That's more entertaining to me because like to me that's like
Yeah.
more for my benefit as a viewer. if you just make it look easy and clean, like just with how good you are, that's pretty cool. Not just for the sake of speed, but for the sake of entertainment.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I love watching those death runs. It's like, how far did you get without dying? Then when they die, they got start all over. We go, oh,
Right? Go all the way over again. It's sort of like playing a roguelite, you're constantly doing new runs, and it just gets boring after a while for me personally. I like some roguelites, but like it's got to be a really good game if it's a roguelike for me to really get into it. I'm not going to play it just for the sake of it being a roguelike.
yeah, I hear you on that one. Well, I guess that's it for that one.
Yeah, I guess we agree. Not much to talk about.
Number 8. Uh, I can't. I can't fuck. I don't, this is something I can't stand about with content. YouTube content creators in particular. Why is that they're in a rush to like get their content out first? It's like, don't they have loyal
Hmm.
followers that will watch things no matter how long it takes them to come out with the content?
Hmm. You mean like people that are just like
Like,
really obsessed with a schedule?
yeah, they're like, oh, well, the game just came out. I gotta talk about it. I gotta do the video now. I
Oh,
gotta get
like
it.
that.
It's
I
like,
think that's mostly
yeah,
because
what's
of
the
the
rush?
buzz, right? Like they wanna capitalize on the buzz. Like, oh, everybody wants to see gameplay for this because it just came out, and in a month no one's gonna care.
Shouldn't
And
be in the rush to do all
to be
this.
fair, I think that there's some legitimacy there because a lot of these games coming out these
Mhm.
days are so fucking broken, or they change the text if it's a re-release, or they try to edit or censor it or do some woke crap, and yeah, the buzz dies down real fast because a lot of us are like, fuck that, I don't give a shit about that now. Like,
I mean, I have
um,
like let's say for like the Star Wars review. For
mm,
example, I got favorites, but I will watch this shit no matter how long it takes them to come out with it. Even if I watch 9 other reviews on it,
right,
because everybody has a different delivery. Some people are overly funny. Some
right,
people are interestingly critical, and I
mm-hmm,
will wait for them. Even if they wait a day to come out with their content, like some of them have,
sure.
I will still watch, even though I watch like 10 others talk about, because I know they. 'Cause I want to see their particular take on it, and I
Well,
gotta wait for it.
and I'll do that
You
too
know.
with certain things for sure. And I'm not like, we've already talked about it. Like, I'm not buying games day one anyway, so I don't care. I couldn't care less when a review for a game comes out. Like, that doesn't matter to me at all. I do think it's cool for the people that do it full time, or they're really trying to make a lot of money doing YouTube, or support themselves. I think it's really cool that the game companies will sometimes give them codes to do reviews, so that they can get that stuff out to people. It's fun every now and then to watch a review for a game that just came out if it's a creator I like, just to see what they say. But it's not something necessary for me because I don't care how good the game is. I'm not paying $70 for it anyway. So like I'm gonna wait until it's 20, 30 max, myself. So like, I'm not buying anything the year it comes out generally, unless it's something super rare or exclusive, or I'm afraid that I won't be able to get it because in the future for less because it's just so rare, something like that. Uh, Everything else, I'll buy it in a year or two when it's $5. Because I know the market. This is just and I have such a big backlog. There's no reason to spend all that money, right? That's money I don't have to make, right? I don't have to worry about making that money myself if I just play stuff that's a little bit older and stick to it, or just take advantage of the market as things happen, right? Remember when Cyberpunk came out? at the end of 2020, and it was all the hype around it, and it bombed so hard because it was so broken. Sony was giving all those rebates, refunds on the game because it just ran so terribly on the PS4. And
Yeah, that shows you
when
how
that
bad it was.
happened, that same year, I picked up a copy of Cyberpunk at GameStop because they had their usual Christmas sale where it was like buy two get two or whatever pre-owned stuff for like games under $10. And so I got a copy of Cyberpunk for the PS4 for $5, like the year it came out, because I knew that game's gonna get patched. Like it's
Yeah.
the studio is too big, the hype is too big. It's gonna take a while, but yeah, they're gonna patch this thing. I'm gonna pick this up because it's only $5, and it'll probably be a lot of fun once it's patched. And that has since happened quite a while ago, and apparently the game is great now. So, but I paid $5 for it because I could.
Yeah, I heard that, man.
And now you couldn't get it for that much. I've never seen it that cheap again. So
I
anyway,
heard that, man.
yeah. What was your original topic for this? I forget.
Oh, content creators rushing to get theirs out first.
Ah, yeah.
Whatever it is.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's that important. I mean, like I said, I like watching some of this stuff, but I agree. Like, I'd rather watch a well-made video than a rushed video myself.
Yeah, yeah, because more time, you put more into it. You
That's
got more
why
time.
I'm really trying not to rush videos on my channel, even though I put in a lot more time for production and everything. I feel like it's worth it. When I release a video, it's like I feel good about it. Like I'm generally very proud of it, and I look forward to seeing what the community's reaction is to it. I'm not doing it because, oh, it's a certain schedule I've got to adhere to, or it's got to be out by X date or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm doing
I
it
would
because
not
I
like
actually
doing
want to
YouTube.
do it. I want the videos to do well. I want people to like them. I want to make them fun and entertaining, interesting.
Right. Well, this next one concerns YouTube.
Okay,
Um,
what do you got?
Now I find to me, I find this I always found it disrespectful when somebody like if I'm streaming and they just leave a like and but they don't stay.
Hmm.
I just don't like that.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
I mean,
I'll admit though, I've done that on your streams before, but it's not because I didn't want to stay. It's just because I was like in the middle of a meeting or something else I had to do. Like I couldn't watch the stream, but I just wanted to give you a little love.
oh, I get I get y'all point, I get it, but I just feel like I see it like this. I'd rather you come in, chill out, even if it's 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Come in, chill out, and forget to leave a like,
Mm,
as opposed to leaving a like and not being able to say.
I see. Yeah, I could see that. I'd feel the same way, really. Even I feel that way with my premieres on my channel. Like I'd much rather have people just come and say hey during the premiere in the live chat, even if they don't,
Hmm.
leave a like or a comment. And most people don't, frankly. Like on my
Yeah.
videos, like I don't usually get many comments. I get some likes, but I don't get a ton of comments most of the time, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. Um, I'd love to continue the conversation if people want to, but that's why I like doing the premieres because it's like at least whoever I'm doing the video about, they come usually. Like I like to make sure they can be on the at the premiere, and then whoever's free or wants to can stop by and just watch the video with us and talk. Because to me, it's like I know this sounds a little cheesy, but to me, it's like a little bit like a movie premiere. It's like I'm the producer going to the premiere of my movie, that I've been working on. Obviously on a very small level, but that's the closest I'll ever get probably to Hollywood. So I like to enjoy it and treat it like a special event.
And this is gonna boost us to Hollywood and beyond.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We're gonna wake up one day billionaires off this shit.
Right? Just so rich because everybody wanted to hear our opinions on modern gaming and woke culture, feminism, politics, all the things. Yeah. We do have some good opinions, if I do say so myself. So I think you might be right, Chrome. Oprah's gonna call. Oprah's gonna call.
Oprah,
Whoopi's
call
gonna
us, Oprah.
call. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of pissing off the right people, Chrome, before Oprah or Whoopi call us, right, to make an appearance, and then we're gonna blow up from there. Because we're gonna go on those shows and we're actually gonna do something no one ever does. We're gonna be honest.
Oh yeah, brutally honest.
Could you imagine if someone was actually honest on The View or honest on Oprah? Like the internet would explode. It'd be incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually mixed 9 and 10 up because number 9 I want to talk about because it was originally number 9. I wanted to make it last.
Sure.
That's so I just thought I'd mention that. Because number 9 was because number 10 was actually what we just got through talking about.
Well, that's fine. What was number 9 then? That's now number 10.
Yeah, it's you ever seen that movie called I Spit on Your Grave?
No, I've heard of it though.
Mm. A little trivia. The first one came out in the 70s.
Okay.
And then I didn't hear nor saw it about it until the reboot was. I didn't even know it was a reboot when I saw it. But I ended up seeing later. I ended up seeing the original, which I thought was just as good as the reboot. I mean, it was. It didn't hold back, man. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
reboot.
Cool.
I mean, so it's basically about this woman who was raped by a gang of dudes because I think she went out on vacation to this rural area,
Mm-hmm.
and the guys got wind of her staying in this cabin, so they went in this cabin and they raped her. Um, so she ends up getting her revenge. She kills every last one of them, basically.
Wow.
So, now, the reason why I brought this up because you got these fucking feminists talking about what a strong woman character is and
Mm-hmm.
all that, like fucking race Skywalker. Skywalker. She, you put her beside the Spit on Your Grave protagonist, and if you say Ray is a stronger woman than her, I'm gonna fuck you up. And you know you lying to yourself and people that you tell that to,
Right.
because the real strong woman is a bitch, and I spit on your grave. You know, because she was raped. Ugh, men raping her. Y'all missing the point.
Mm-hmm.
She gets her revenge.
Right.
She gets her all of them paid for it. Is that not a strong woman? She
Right.
didn't just leave and go call the police, make a police report. She took it upon herself to get every last one of these guys, man.
Right.
It's like I don't know what if that's not a strong woman, I don't know what is, man.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's awesome. I want to see the movie now, for sure.
Yeah, because a friend of mine, he won't see it. He don't want to see it because of the rape. He don't like the fact that she gets raped. I say, yeah, that's why she ended up getting the revenge.
That's
I
the
mean,
whole point of the movie.
he's like, it's graphic. I'm like, people say, "Oh, it's graphic, it's disturbing." It's supposed to be
Right.
because you're
Exactly.
supposed to root for them. It's,
Mm-hmm.
you don't supposed to enjoy watching these men take advantage of her. You don't
Right.
supposed to enjoy it.
Yep.
It's not meant for you to sit back and think, "Damn, they fucking up good. Holy shit, let me get
Right.
my dick out." No, you're supposed to be like, "God damn it, these fucking men. Oh my god, I can't believe they doing this to this woman." You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Right. Absolutely.
it's supposed to piss you off. You're supposed to root for her. That's the goal of the film.
Well, I feel like that's what it is, right? For like the good protagonists in any movie, regardless of gender, it's like you you start rooting for them for some reason. Either they're the underdog or they get something horrible happens to them, and you want them to get revenge or you want them to win in the end. That's just a good protagonist. Hell, sometimes I want the villains to win because they just had just the worst shit happen to them. You know?
That's funny because I was watching. You heard of Evil Dead, right? I know you heard of
Oh
that.
yeah, I've seen Evil Dead. Hmm.
Yeah, I hate. As far as the originals, because I hated the second one, but the first one was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, I
And I
love the
remember
first
I was
one.
watching.
I've only seen the first one of the series, but I really
Yeah, the
liked it.
first one is great. First one is great. I mean, I saw Evil Dead reboot
Hmm.
that came out the early 2000s. I saw it.
Yeah,
I mean, because I was thinking like I wasn't expecting to like it better than the first one. No shit. Because I don't go into a reboot expecting to like it better than
sure.
the first one.
Yeah,
I just hope at least I fucking find it acceptable. I like it at least.
right.
And I don't expect to love it. I want to like it at least. So the writing was so fucking bad that at the end of the movie, I was rooting for the fucking demons to kill off the protagonists.
Hmm.
That's fucked up. I was like, man, fuck yeah. I hope the demons kill y'all ass.
Right. Well,
Oh yeah.
I'm always that
Because they
way in
were so
horror movies
stupid.
though. In the horror movies, it's like
Yeah.
usually people are so dumb, right? Like you said, like they do
Mhm.
extremely stupid things. Now I know like hindsight's 2020, or I'm an outsider looking in. I know it's scarier if you're facing stuff in real time. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes people do extremely dumb things in horror movies, and it's really fun to watch them die as a result of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you can't feel sorry for them. They stupid.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have went back out there, dumbass. So I heard a noise. Let me go out there in the dark without a flashlight. What the
Right.
fuck you doing?
Don't you know you're in a horror movie? What the hell are you doing? Yep. Man. You made me want to see that movie though now. I spit on your grave.
Oh, it's good. It's a good watch.
You said you liked the remake and the original?
Uh huh.
Okay. I'll have to look for
I
it.
didn't. I didn't care for the. I didn't care for the. 'Cause they made a second and a third one. I
Hmm.
thought the third one was fucking garbage.
Okay.
Complete garbage. The second one wasn't all that good either. But the
Hmm.
first one is a masterpiece and the reboot
Okay.
of the
That's,
first one.
that's good to know. Yeah, sometimes sequels just
I
phone
mean,
it
it
in.
was so. It was so. 'Cause this regarding the first one that came out. I think it came out in '78 or something like that.
Hmm.
It was so graphic that it was banned.
Oh
It was
wow.
banned in some kind.
Damn.
That's how controversial it was. That's how realistic it was.
Well, it
It's
must
like
have
people just couldn't
been
handle it.
really intense then, because Texas Chainsaw Massacre is really gruesome, the first one, and that came out I want to say in like '73 or '74, maybe.
Yeah, it was.
Um, that movie still for me is hard to watch. Like just some of the scenes are like so disturbing.
Oh, speaking of that, my favorite Chainsaw Massacre movie is the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love it. That's my favorite one. And the most disturbing scene is in that motherfucker to me. Have you ever seen it?
I haven't seen that one yet. No.
Oh man.
I still want to see the
It
others at
was-
some point. Like I've only seen the first two Chainsaw Massacre movies, and the second one is so different. You know, it's almost a comedy in parts because it's so silly.
I know. I know. Well, I'll just say the order for me to talk about, I gotta spoil the kill though. You know, I want.
Oh,
I mean, if
okay.
you don't mind spoiling, if
No,
you
I
do
don't.
mind, I
I
won't
don't
say
mind.
anything.
I don't mind. You can spoil it. I'm sure most people have already
Oh,
seen it.
okay. Yeah, anyways, there was this guy. He was tied up to this table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in Leatherface's dungeon,
Yep.
and his girlfriend ended up finding him down there. But Leatherface had stepped out for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So she was talking to him. Oh my God, I miss you. We gotta get out of here and all this, and I love you and all that shit, right?
Right.
All of a sudden, she heard a noise and Leatherface was coming back. So she hid up under the table because she couldn't get out of there. Because there
Mm-hmm.
was only one way in and out, right?
Okay.
So she's up under the table while her boyfriend is still tied up, of course, to the table. So Leatherface comes down, he grabs his chainsaw, revs that shit up, and he proceeds to uh, chainsaw his rib cage and his
Ooh.
adamant going down to his groin while
Ooh.
the guy is like groaning and suffering. And the girl is under the table. Her boyfriend's blood's pouring all over her face as he's dying right above her.
Whoa.
Like, holy shit. That's intense.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
I think trauma's not even a word you would experience on that. I think trauma's too kind
Yeah.
after experiencing some shit like that.
Yeah. I don't know. That's that's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
I was like, they was going for shock value. They succeeded.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely succeeded, I'd say. That's horrifying.
Yeah, other than that, it was I enjoyed it. It's my favorite Chainsaw movie, man. It's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I seen the other reboot, the one that came out before that one. It
Yep.
was basically a reboot of the first one. I thought it was okay.
Okay.
I thought it was okay. You know, it wasn't bad. Because my mother, she remembers seeing the first Chainsaw Massacre movie in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing that. Yeah, I remember she was telling me she remember seeing the first Alien movie in the theaters and shit. I
Mm.
was like, damn, how did they react when the alien came out that man's chest? It was like everybody was gasping, like, I said, damn, I was like, man, what a moment for you to see that.
Right. But a piece of cinema history there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you what piece of cinema history that I would love. I would love to go back in time and just sit there and experience it.
What's
I
that?
did see reactions
Mm-hmm.
to it on YouTube.
Yep.
I mean, those people who kept that footage and uploaded on YouTube.
Sure.
When it was Star Wars Episode 5, I think,
Mm-hmm.
when Vader reveals to Luke that he's his father.
Oh wow. Okay.
God damn, I was like, damn, that's a moment. I love seeing reactions to that. You see that for the first time.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one. That's one of the most famous ones for sure. And
Yeah, man.
Empire is my favorite of the Star Wars movies for sure. It's not even close
Empire,
for me.
the Empire. Yeah, I remember you saying that before. I like the Episode 6. That's my
Yeah.
favorite one.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi was my favorite when I was a kid, but I just got more. I think I just got more
Mm-hmm.
Vader love as I got older. And
And Vader's in
Empire's
the.
Empire Vader is such a badass in Empire, you know. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think
Oh
it's a
damn.
lot of things though too. You know, Yoda's in more of Empire than the others. Like,
He is. Yeah.
and
Yeah, he
you
was.
know, Luke gets his training. It's so cool. You know that sequence and the asteroid field sequence. I still think is like one of the best like space pieces of media ever. Like how they filmed the asteroid chase. And the music for it. That's my favorite piece of Star Wars music is probably the asteroid field.
Yeah.
That's such a good song. Wow, Chrome, is that all your topics? Did we actually cover everything?
Oh yeah.
Wow. I didn't know if we'd get through it or not.
Yeah. The way we be fucking like jumping to other topics.
Right? I really didn't know.
Yeah, man. It's like, whoo.